early Mallet, that one.
It really is, yes. It's not fitted with the Clubman's engine, as you can tell.
Jan into my sight now. As I said earlier, this car's just lost within the width of the Shelsley Walsh track. It's ever so small and petite. I bet that's got some lovely handling. But it steers beautifully. But past my commentary box and into your sight now, Chris.
Yeah, isn't that pretty? Yes, that's just such a pure little racing car, that one. The Mallets have been incredibly successful cars over the years. It's certainly dominated Clubman's racing for many years, and he's already away to the finish.
Here's a famous car. I've just done an interview with Simon Taylor, which you'll see online in a week or two's time, in the famous Stoveboat Special. Started life as an HWF Alta Grand Prix car, driven by Sterling Moss. The first car he drove, he was paid to drive, and Simon's had this car for 20 years or more, and it never goes on a trailer. He always drives it to the meeting and back home again. Time for Janusz in the Mallet, 40.79. Bryony Serrell with you in the Lotus 51.
She is indeed, yeah, with her notorious ears flapping on her helmet. And yeah, she is firing the Lotus up towards bottom S as we speak, Chris.
Now, first time I've seen this car out for a while, because she's been in her other Lotus. So this has had a rebuilt engine on this car. And yeah, she was wrestling it through top S, already off to the finish.
She's over the line, 38.35.68. Andrew Tippett in the unique Brabham 30X, built for Formula One, never raced in Formula One.
It's thunderous, isn't it, with that V8 in it?
It really is.
Fantastic. 84 through the speed trap, so not short on power.
Beautiful looking, classic looking Brabham, that one. The engine sounds magnificent. We see it so often. Love seeing this car.
Yep, Andrew has got to the top. 32.08. Now, Formula 5000 was a big booming class of cars, and this is typical. This is the lovely Lola of Roger Dean's. He's had it for a long time.
Yeah, this is one of the best looking cars here today. I just love the packaging of the V8 in that single seater bodywork. The manifolds, it's a work of art, that car. Through the speed trap at 68.
And the front discs pointing
out.
Proper
old-fashioned racing car, this one. Look at that one go. I believe this car won the Portuguese Grand Prix when those used to be mixture of Formula 5000 and F1 cars.
He records a 35.44. Richard Brown, ex-record holder here, but in the Mallet, Mark 17.
Absolutely, and he takes a lovely crisp line through crossing and flat out through the kink. Nice amount of power in this car, barks its way with its intakes. It's a very nice car. Small lock up on the way into bottom S.
Yes, a later Mallet. This one you can see this is quite different to Jan's car. This is, I'd say, the traditional Clubman's Mallets, usually running 1700 Ford crossflow engines.
Richard, 33 seconds exact, his speed 95. Now we're into the cars in the Interclub meeting. So these are competition runs. They've had their one practice run this morning, now it's serious. This is Amy Purvin.
Absolutely, and she's fired past my commentary box. She's flat out using all of that 1.8 litre engine. A small puff of blue smoke out the exhaust, but nothing to worry about, I'm sure. Braking into bottom S.
Yeah, enjoying the sunshine too, with the roof down, got the roll cage there. Anyway, a little bit of oversteer coming out of there. Already blasting off to the finish, puff of smoke, and she's on her way.
She really is. Clock is still ticking. 39.91. 39.91 for Amy. Who's coming? The Abarth. Liz Dudley. And the very hot little iteration of the Fiat Cinquecento.
Absolutely, yeah. They had the 500 Abarth and then a later version, which is this version, the 595 Abarth, available in a variety of different limited editions, but certainly using all of the torque from that little punchy 1.4 turbocharged engine.
Yeah, lovely little line into bottom S there, through top S, going a little bit wide, but it's trying really, really hard. All the power of that little engine's pulling itself up the socks, past all the fields of the Buttercups.
And records a time of 38.13. Good time.
And we have a Clio in front of me. This is the Clio of Robin Gutteridge, and it's a 200 Gordini. So this is very similar to the 182 engine, except it's obviously a wider track. It's a short ratio 6-speed box as opposed to the 5-speed in the 182. Still the 2-litre F4R engine, 200 brake horsepower, variable valve timing. Great little car.
Yeah, looks very nice indeed, to be fair. Yeah, these little Renaults, they're well desirable little cars. I've never had one, but I think I'd like one.
Can't say I blame you. We've got another one in front of me now, Mark Edwards, who is again grabbing his by the scruff of the neck. It's the only way to drive a 182 Clio. I've said before, I'll say it again, because they're slightly longer geared than the 197, so you do need to make the most of those ratios.
Time for Robin Guttridge, 44.9.
Oh my goodness me, he nearly lost it in the bottom S. Trying really, really hard. He was on 3 wheels, nearly hit the barrier, but anyway, he's back on his way and he's nearly finished.
The only way to drive a Clio.
Will Goff on his way, 39.934.
He is indeed.
For Mark Edwards.
Will Goff just underneath me now with his distinctive Alpha 4C. Very pretty car that, but yeah, nothing to worry about in front of me. Just braking into bottom S.
Yeah, isn't that just pretty? Isn't that red car? Got his lights on. He's been very successful in this little car. And in fact, these aren't cheap cars. Somebody told me they were about 80,000 quid.
They're not quite that much. Maybe when they were new, I don't think, in fact, I'm not sure they were that much new, but they certainly held their value because they are a very delightful car. Now, somebody absolutely firing through is the Civic Type R of Joshua Baxter, having a real go, driving it properly.
Yeah, it's a Civic Type R. What a superb little piece of kit. The engine sounds magnificent with that variable valve timing. Already powers it away. They rev like crazy, and he's already gone from me.
And his time coming up, good time, 35.81.
Very good time. He was very committed through Kennel and Crossing. In front of me here I have Simon Baker on the hill in his 997 Carrera. He's really going well. He's got the whale tail, ducktail spoiler on that car, and yeah, engine sounds great in those flat 6. Obviously very distinctive, very 911.
Oh, I'm a big fan of these 911s. Yeah, absolutely stunning actually. This one, oh yeah, that just sounds superb. 6-cylinder Porsche engine, don't they sound great?
I'm going offline for a little bit because Kevin has brought me a lollipop, a Magnum Classic.
Oh, what a man.
So I'll be spitting bits of chocolate all over the floor if I try and speak at the same time.
Well, James Robinson's just passed by my commentary box. He missed a gear coming into Kennel, which you'd be disappointed with, but this is a slightly more serious Clio 197, this one, a bit more stripped out, but going well.
Yeah, it looks great actually, that one, to be fair. That is a well-sorted little Clio, isn't it, that one, Lloyd?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a bit more stripped out, but on the hill now in front of me, I've got Simon Dudfield in his Elise. Obviously, Lotus Elise is a classic shape, just a little bit fighty through crossing as he dabs a little bit of oversteer, but flat out through the kink and on the brakes hard and with you now.
Yeah, the Elise is popular on the hills, as the Exige is as well, isn't it? But this little example, I think, is this the Rover engine in this one, Lloyd?
Yeah, there'll be K-Series, I'm sure, in that one. 1.8 K-Series. In front of me now, and just coming nicely through Kennel and Crossing, we have Neil Hazelhurst in his Mazda MX-5. Now, this car, you will hear it whining. It is supercharged, which is a very popular modification for MX-5s to gain a bit more power, supercharging and turbocharging of those.
Yeah, that's the soft top on that one. Yeah, here, listen to that whine of the supercharger as it winds up. And yeah, that's a good modification, puts the brake horsepower up to well into the 200s, I'd have thought.
Absolutely, and we're getting a few road bias cars now, so we've got on the hill this very, very pretty Howard Davies in his Alfa Romeo GT 3.2 V6, the Busso engine. Sounds fantastic, it's a legendary engine, and he's absolutely flat out, no lift at all, past any of my commentary box corners.
Yeah, another Alfa, as you say. Nice bit of kit. I'll just say good afternoon to Sir Jeff Robinson. He's there, he's taking pictures. Good afternoon, Sir Jeffrey.
And into my sight now, we have Alan McFarlane in his fairly new Mini Cooper JCW. So this is a 22 model year JCW. It'll be running around 250 brake horsepower. They're very, very lovely road cars. Obviously BMW engine, 2-litre turbocharged in those. Very nice car.
OS BMW 2-litre turbocharged. Yeah, it does goes extremely well too, don't they? That's probably the quickest of the new minis, isn't it? That one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they do a GP3, which is around 300 brake horsepower with a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox. But some people go for manual, some people go for DCTs. There's a variety of technology available to us now, and we go back in time slightly for Graham Godfrey. His Mark 1 TT Roadster goes very well up this hill indeed. He's flying 77 through the speed traps. He always goes well here.
Yeah, we do see him on a regular basis, don't we, actually? This car does run well. Little Audi TTs, they can take a lot of performance out of these Audis, can't they?
Absolutely, yeah. They're very tunable. There's a 1.8 litre turbo BAM engine, they call them, so very strong internals on those. Change of pace, we've got a Caterham with us now, and obviously Caterhams are notorious for their motorsport credentials, going well on hill climb. 75 Richard Young through the speed trap.
Yeah, the first of the little Caterhams. In fairness, I don't know whether we've got the really quick boys here tomorrow or not, whether these are just here for one day.
I'm not sure. I know that some of the really quick Caterhams are running traction, 300 brake horsepower engines, sequential boxes, but I think these are slightly more road biased. But Bruce Bashford flashes into my commentary box in the distinctive orange Caterham there.
Yep, got her now actually, yes. I think these are all the car engine Caterhams, mostly running Ford or Vauxhall engines usually, and the bike engine ones, we've not seen many of those on display today.
Yeah, I think the bike engine ones are more Westfields and MK Indies. The Caterhams tend to always run with car engines in them, I think. You can say Duratec, Zetec and some Vauxhall engines, but Andrew Wilcox is on his way to you now. He's just flashed by my commentary box, 78 through the speed trap.
He's nice and smoothly round here, quite wide. Yeah, he's down the middle of the track now, and he's already on his way up the finish line.
Have you noticed that Graham Godfrey and Richard Young did exactly the same time?
I was just about to say that, so thank you, Chris.
Sorry.
Yeah, 37.27, yeah, no, and which is very, very good. Nigel Fox is on the hill currently.
Yeah, I got Nigel Fox just gone by me. He's well on his way up towards the finish in that rather nice little car.
Absolutely, yeah, with a time recorded of 34.05. Now, Stuart Rothwell in this 205 RWL motorsport car, flying past us in the 1905cc GTI engine. On his way to you now, he's 85 miles an hour through the speed trap.
Yes, three-wheeling down through bottom S there, going through top S very smoothly, nice lines. Beautiful, beautiful little 205. That one's properly sorted car.
Absolutely, and he'll record a time of 34.67 at 83 miles an hour across the speed trap. That's very, very quick indeed. Now, on the hill, we've got something a little different. We've got Dave Nursey in his Jaguar XJS. This is the straight 6 variant, not the V12. But wonderful to see that car competing on the hill. He's flat out through all of those corners and through Kennel Crossing and the King 67 through the speed trap.
Yeah, they did race these in America quite successfully, didn't they? Actually, they had in a Canadian series. Well, it was a Canadian series.
Yeah. Absolutely, and Dave will go across the line to record a time of 42.86. If you can hear me, that's Stephen Mogg coming past me in his TVR, which is obviously thunderous V8 in that. He's come past the speed trap at 88 miles an hour.
Yeah, isn't he trying too? That engine sounds magnificent. You see those air intake stuck out through the top of the bonnet there, that big burbling V8 Rover.
Absolutely, it's a wonderful car, that TVR, and Stephen Redditch based, so fairly local. He records a time of 33.91 and at a speed of 101 miles an hour. So yeah, some lots of variety in that batch, lots of tin tops, lots to see, some single seaters as well. So plenty of variety in that batch.
Yeah, nice batch of cars there, wasn't it? So we've, it looks, yes, end of batch now. They're just starting to come past the finish line, coming on their way back down the hill. Interesting batch of cars.
Listen, guys, we are joined around the world by a number of people watching our live stream. So, bonjour, guten Tag, good dag. Welcome to live stream hill climbing from Shelsley Walsh. Bear and Tom, a nice message. Leading fans, bonjour Béa, bonjour Tom. They live in Munster in France, which is near Mulhouse, where Bugattis are made. And it's nice to have old friends back online.
That sounds like a nice factory tour.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Steve Williams watching this and the Isle of Man TT. I wonder which is more exciting.
As much as I love Shelsley Walsh, I do think the TT is going to be. I mean, I've never been, but seeing what you see online, it's crazy. It's scary.
It really is.
Scary.
I don't dare go.
200 miles an hour, I'm told they were doing. I think Michael Dunlop's doing at the moment.
There's a brilliant online of the fastest Subaru lap of the Isle of Man TT course.
Mark Higgins, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, in that Pro Drive prepared car, unbelievable. Did you see the? So obviously they did it with a later car. It was more of a time attack sequential box thing, and they got a bit more serious with it after the third year. But on the first year they tried it, it was with a breathed upon road car. And have you seen his moment at Bray Hill?
No.
Okay, so Mark Higgins is doing 140 miles an hour down into Bray Hill. The car bottoms out under the compression, gets loose, and at one point at about 100 miles an hour, he's completely broadside, 45 degrees on full opposite lock.
And doesn't lift off.
He does lift off. He
Oh,
manages to save it. Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, it would have been an absolute aeroplane crash. But
Yes.
but he managed to save it. All that. I mean, any normal person, even a competent driver, would have probably lost it and had a huge accident. But there's a very interesting. So obviously, Mark Higgins, as we know, is a fantastic driver. You know, James Bond stuntman and British champion of various things. He's a very, very talented driver, but I think even he was surprised that he saved that moment. So if ever you get a chance to go on YouTube and have a look at that. The funniest thing as well is he had a passenger who was completely expressionless throughout the whole event. So I think he was probably white with fear.
One very brave passenger.
Yeah, absolutely. But to be honest, if somebody said to me, would you like to go for a lap of the course to attempt a record with Mark Higgins, I'd probably fancy that, to be honest.
Would you really? I don't know if I'd be brave enough.
I think that would be pretty cool.
Anyway, they've just all gone by me now, so they'll be back with you very shortly, and we'll be back with some more action.
Yes, indeed. Some interesting cars in the next batch. We've got.
Hang on,
Coopers. Sorry, Chris.
Lloyd. I'm just going to interrupt you, and this doesn't need to go around the world. But there's a red Range Rover Y168FCH. Range Rover Y168FCH in the caravan park. It's got a very distressed dog on board, so it needs a drink and cooling down. And if no one responds quickly, we often have to resort to smashing a window, which we don't really want to do. So if it's your Range Rover down there with a distressed dog, go down and rescue him, please. Sorry, Lloyd, I interrupted you.
By the way, I'm just going to ask, it's a pretty good turnout for a Saturday practice. I saw a lot of cars in the car park when I walked down earlier. I've got a few spectators up here all enjoying the sunshine as well, which is lovely to see. And at the top, as you look up towards the finish, you've got a magnificent view of huge buttercup fields on either side, but particularly on the right. And there's a lot of spectators walking up towards the finish line. Though I don't think they're allowed into top paddock, are they?
No, they're not. I'm going to say farewell for the moment and hand over to Billy Grace, so I'll talk to you later.
I'm going to hand over to Paul Langford if he fancies having a little go, or is he going to have a cup of tea first? Right, so I'll hang on for a bit while he enjoys a quick brew. So we're live stream all over the world now. That's rather exciting, isn't it? So I'm not seeing any of the live stream cameras because they're probably down in Vaux Villa today, are they? I think we're just handing over to Billy down there. You're still at crossing though, Lloyd, aren't you? It's all very quiet.
I'm still in crossing. No, I'm still in crossing.
Tidy.
I was just having a moment to catch up with
sure, for sure.
Gentlemen,
Toby Moody.
sorry to interrupt, gentlemen. Just an update about the car with the dog. The dog is now extremely distressed. A window will be broken in the next 5 or 10 minutes if nobody comes to let that dog out, because it's quite an urgent situation. So if you are a red Range Rover owner, Y168FCH, you need to go and tend to your dog immediately, please. Sorry, gents, carry on.
So, we should be back underway shortly. Hopefully we get that situation in the car park taken care of. I don't think I would blame anyone for smashing the window.
Right, everybody, we're back in business. Hello, it's Billy Grace here again at the start line. We've got Anthony Brown on the hill in his bright red Audi TT making his way through Kennel now.
Indeed, yep. Team Rowdy Audi. Anthony certainly goes for it in this car. Pops and bangs past me. This is a very heavily breathed upon Audi. Still road registered, but highly modified. Through the speed trap at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, it does look the part too, doesn't it? That one with that big front dam on that, front spoiler on that one. Powers his way up through top S here. That's a pretty pokey little Audi, that one.
Next on the hill, Alan Voice in the Triumph GT6. I'll just give you the time for Anthony Brown in the Audi, 34.76.
Not hanging around, yeah. So this is Alan Voice in his GT6. Now this has had the engine, the six-cylinder engine whipped out of it, and a Ford Z-Tech four-cylinder put back in. So nice little package there, flat through the kink and through the speed trap at 67 on the brakes.
Yeah, back in the day I owned a GT6 with the six-cylinder in it, but certainly modern engineering in that one now, and it obviously gives it nice reliability, though the old Triumph engine was always reliable.
Next on the hill, I'll give you a time for Alan in a second. We've got Nick Stevens in his Ginetta G4.
Absolutely, yeah, pretty little car this. Nice proportions on this car. It's very petite. I love the arches. Nice line through crossing, through Kennel, nice and tight line there, and through the kink on the brakes, and into bottom S.
The time for Alan Voice, by the way, was... Sorry, Nick Stevens in the Ginettas on the hill now. The Alan Voice time was 39.84. Nick Stevens is heading towards the line now and crosses it in a 38.43. We've now got Alistair Clark on the line in a Triumph Vitesse.
Absolutely, yeah. I mentioned earlier, Alistair Clark's Vitesse is one of the best sounding cars I can hear today. It's the six-cylinder engine is wonderful.
What a beautiful looking Triumph. 2-litre engine. I believe it's got a straight six.
Definitely sounded six-cylinder-ish to me. Meanwhile, Hugh Whitcomb is now on the hill in a lovely Mini Cooper S. Lovely, very beautiful car.
Absolutely, we love a Mini, and yeah, that iconic straight-cut gearbox noise as it winds its way up through the hill. Obviously, with it being a Mini, you can keep it flat to the boards all the way through crossing, flat through Kennel. It's actually going really well, to be honest. It's going to be through the speed trap at 67 miles an hour.
Just into my view, well-prepared Mini.
Time, by the way, for Alistair Clark in the Triumph was a 48.19, whilst Hugh is making his way to the finish. We've got David Rose on the hill in a very pretty Lotus Elan.
Yeah, David Rose has been going really well in his Elan today. He's been struggling with his other Lotus that he's got single-seater, historic single-seater, but his Elan's flying today. He's going really well in that. 80 miles an hour past the speed trap. That's really, really quick.
Coming into my view, yes, flat to the boards, on his way up to the finish line.
Time for the Mini, Hugh Whitcomb was a 42.18. David Rose in the Elan's and a 36.26. Now we've got Lloyd Jones on the hill and a Marcus 1800.
Have indeed, very, very gruff sounding car. Lovely, lovely twin cam engine in that. 76 through the speed trap, flat out past all my corners.
Sounds so sweet coming past me.
Yeah,
through
very
the top
pretty
S.
car.
Powering its way up to the finish line.
As Lloyd makes his way to the finish and is there in a 37.76, we've got this beautiful Dino of Anthony Atwood on the hill.
That is an absolutely stunning car. Now that could be one of the best looking cars here today. If there was a concours to Shelsley Walsh, I think that could win it, couldn't it? Now fires its lovely little small capacity V6 past my commentary box and should be with you by now, Paul.
Yep, just coming into view. Absolutely fantastic. Used to be in the Persuaders, driven by Tony Curtis.
I'm afraid
I didn't know that.
I don't know what any of that is, I'm afraid. I was born in 1992. So.
You weren't, were you? You're younger than me.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Time for Anthony Atwood was a 41.28. I was also shocked to hear Lloyd say that one of the Renault Clios wasn't the best looking car competing today. So, you know, I've heard crazy things today.
They're in a class of their own.
Okay. Pauline Goodwin now on the hill in this beautiful Ferrari 328.
Yeah, this is absolutely immaculately prepared, this car. It's obviously been breathed upon, it sounds louder, it's got slightly different suspension, but I think this is a challenge car. I think there was a 328 challenge back in the day, I could be wrong, but very nicely prepared and heading up the hill well.
Yes, I think there was.
Yes, just coming past me. Wonderful.
Pauline's making her way to the line. Meanwhile, we've got David Snelson on the hill in a Ferrari 430. Very pretty car.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a 430. This is using the 4.3 V8 flat plane crank. A lot of smoke coming out the back of that car, unfortunately. I think he could have an issue, so I'd be inclined to just mention to him, anybody at the paddock, that he's got an awful lot of smoke pouring out the back of that car.
He's just gone off the track. Oh, it's just come out of the bottom S and he's landed somewhere on top of the grass bank.
Yes.
I think what's happened there is I think he's dumped a load of oil and probably gone round on his own spillage, unfortunately.
I wonder if it was water.
Doesn't look like oil. It looks more like steam.
Yeah, I noticed on one of the cameras it looked like they're trying to stop him from backing back onto the track because I think he's dumping some fluid. But to me it looked like the water was coming out of the front right corner, which might be a radiator.
That sounds like a radiator,
off.
doesn't it? It wasn't happening quite so badly into Canal. It really took a hold as it came through crossing, and it was obviously coming back all the way through the car, and it was gave the illusion that it was all coming out the back. But Marshall's on track now, just checking the surface just to make sure that there's nothing major. I can't see any fluid down in front of my commentary box.
No, that's steam.
But the marshals are just having a good look, just to check there's no fluid dumped, because obviously the last thing we want is any unexpected change in track conditions.
Especially at the apex of the bottom S.
Absolutely. And while they just clear that up, just a quick point to mention, if you happen to have any photographs today, as I've seen a lot of cameras around, if you have any photographs and you upload them onto Instagram, Facebook, anything like that, please do remember the hashtag Shelsley Walsh, so that we can see your photos. We'd love to repost them. We'd love to see them, because there's some very lovely cameras around the place, and I'm sure there's some wonderful photos being taken. So do remember hashtag Shelsley Walsh.
I'm actually getting a replay because of the stream, and it looks for me like water. And then we went into bottom S, and I reckon there was some on the rear tyres because the rear stepped out and he was up onto the bank.
It didn't smell like oil, did it? So I suppose there would have been a giveaway. So yeah, it would probably bet it's water, wouldn't we?
Yeah, it's definitely steam that's coming out the back.
Yes. Yeah.
Hope that's not too much of an issue. Hopefully it's just I hope it's a hose or something rather than a slightly more substantial fix. But
what's currently happening at bottom S then?
Well, the driver's out of the car, surrounded by marshals, and he's perfectly safe.
Good.
He's absolutely fine.
How does the car look? Is the car all intact? And was there any collision with any barrier? Does it look like it's all okay?
No, it's just parked on the grass bank.
Good. Okay, so hopefully it's just a simple case of seeing if we can get a bit of water back in that car. Hopefully it's not done any lasting damage. Fingers crossed. I think it would have been caught soon before the temperature started to rocket on that car. So fingers crossed it can be back out.
It does look a little steamy from the camera angle I've got here in Vox Villa. So hopefully it's not done any damage. That's the main thing. Obviously knowing the driver's all right. But I saw a replay on the live stream, and he did a very good job at parallel parking on top of the bank. I was impressed and seemed to miss the sleepers, which I thought was impressive.
That was absolutely excellent, that was.
Yeah. So I'm presuming they are trying to work out how to get the car back without dumping any more fluid. I see.
Here's the tow truck.
That would be the answer to the question then. We've had some messages on the stream, by the way, because we're testing the stream today for a full day tomorrow, and we've had a message from Australia. We've now got Adrian Pasman from Channel Islands watching, which is fantastic to hear. Shame you can't be here in person to you both. It's an absolutely beautiful day in the Tean Valley. Not a cloud in the sky. I'm enviously looking on at people opposite me with glasses of beer and Pimm's in hand, and if you'd like to do a public service, do send one of those to Vox Villa for your favourite commentator. That would be very kind of you, because I'm quite jealous, but it's an absolutely beautiful day here.
Just want to tell you what's going on from where I am,
yes.
On the top S. The tow truck is now reversed up to him. I think the flatbed just tip up and they'll just tow him back onto the flatbed.
Yes, that's good. So that'll be hopefully a quick recovery job. These are, of course, timed runs, aren't they? These are competition runs for the one-day meeting. So for those who are new to Shelsley, we have the 2-day national championship that's competing with practice today and competition tomorrow. And then we also have a one-day meeting with about 20 or 25 cars or so, whose 2 timed runs are today, and this being the first. And then they won't be competing tomorrow. So we will have some prizes to be awarded at the end of the day. And I can keep us up to date on the Top S Ferrari recovery. But in the meantime, I can take you through some standings, actually, if I just get my program in order. So if you give me 1 second, I'll take you through where we are.
Right, the flatbed has now been lowered down onto the ground, and I think they'll just hitch him up and pull him off.
Excellent, that's good to hear. So I'll take you through some class standings at the moment. Class, OBE, which is saloons and sports cars manufactured up to 1971, is currently being led by car number 228. That is the Lotus Elan of David Rose that we just saw. Very quick run, a 36.73, comfortably leading the class over Lloyd Jones, who's in second on a 39.27, Lloyd driving the Marcos. Third in class, Nick Stevens on a 41.78, and he's driving the little Ginetta. Followed by Hugh Whitcomb on a 41.82. Hugh is driving the Mini. And then rounding out the class is Alistair Clark in the Triumph on a 48.65. So it's very close between Nick and Hugh there for the final place on the podium. The Ferrari Challenge is currently being led by David Snelson, who is driving the 430, actually. So that will be from the first run, I believe. With Pauline Goodwin second. Pauline's driving the 328, and she's on a 38.67. David was on a 35.24. Then Anthony Atwood, he is in the Dino. And finally, we've got Steve Nunny in the 348. So that's the Ferrari class. We'll keep you up to date with the results of today's meeting as we get them. And the next car you'll see on the line is Dave Garnett in Lloyd. Guess what? Guess what car?
What have we
we'll
got?
be seeing next.
Go on, what have we got?
We've got a Renault Clio.
Oh my God!
I know.
I'm very excited.
Not another one.
Oh, I'm just that person that never gets bored of Renault Clios. They're just great cars. I said before, they're just such great ways of getting into a sport. Try and find me a 2-litre 16-valve hot hatch. It's a mini touring car, mini rally car, whatever application you want to use it for. Where can you find that for $2.5 grand these days? It's a Clio. It's a Clio, because the Renault 5 turbos and the 205 GTI XR3s of the world, they're all loads of money now.
You don't even work for Renault, do you?
No, I don't even work
That's
for
incredible.
Renault.
Free
No,
advertising.
I'm just an ambassador, but maybe they'll employ me as a Renault 182 ambassador for their classic program one day. Who knows?
You'd be the face of it.
Oh,
Somebody's got to do it.
What are you saying? Nobody wants to do it?
Can I throw in an aside here?
Please do.
Go for it.
You say this course has been used since 1901?
I'd have to get the exact year. It might be 04, but I can't remember.
1904. Well, it's always been timed.
1901. You're right, 1901.
Yeah. It's always been timed going up.
Yes.
Right. About 4 or 5 years ago, they did the Roger Albert Clark Rally.
Yes.
And it used the hill, and they timed them up. Then they actually timed them down.
Wow. Where did they stop them? Because I'm guessing it was before they got to the start line. Otherwise, you'd arrive in the paddock at a terrible lick.
Yeah. I think it was a flying finish and then a stop.
Ah, right. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yes. I was here marshalling.
Oh, wow.
I was actually just after the bottom S on the bank. And it was a fantastic view. And further down the track, there's a marshal's post on the left with a little square box Well, one guy parked his Escort Mark II in it,
Oh,
and it was that tight he couldn't get out the car. He couldn't open the doors.
brilliant.
Yeah, that was the first time they've ever used Shelsley Walsh timed downhill.
And interesting, so the first event was the 12th of August 1905, and the winning time of 77.6.
It was 1905. I thought I had that in my head.
1905.
I know wherever Toby Moody is, he would have been screaming and yelling and shouting at me for not remembering which year.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is 1905.
I knew that all myself. It's not. Toby Moody's nowhere to be seen. He's definitely not in the commentary box with me. So
he's heading to Vox Villa with a meat cleaver, I think.
Yeah, but I'm watching
1905.
Chris Ponsford eating an ice cream.
You know, if that's not entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what is.
Without doubt. Without doubt.
So how are we getting on with our recovery?
Right, it's on the back of the truck, and that's it. Oh, it's just being hoisted now. Not hoisted up in the air, but it's well strapped down, and they're just moving the flatbed up on the rams. And yeah, everybody's out. There's a little bit of cat litter being put down on the track, but not a lot.
I wonder if it's water then, or it could even be fuel.
Oh, it definitely looked like steam from here.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they're lowering the flatbed down, so it shouldn't be too long now.
Good-o.
Yeah,
Well done to all the marshals up there at Bottom S for doing such a good job.
Everybody's safe and sound, all standing up and walking.
Good-o. That's good to hear. Thank you to the marshals, by the way. All the marshals here today at all the posts. We couldn't go racing without you. And if you are here thinking, I'm really enjoying this, I want to get more in on the action, marshalling is a fantastic way to do that. So have a chat to any of our Orange Army. They're all very friendly about how they got involved, how they started and how to start. We're always looking for new volunteers, enthusiastic volunteers, to be part of the marshalling community and to help these events run as smoothly as they do.
Besides that, you get free entry and you get the best seat in the house.
I might need to just quickly read out one message I've got on the stream, which is from Archie Cooper. Good luck to Trev and parents. So that would be Trevor Willis and the Coopers competing in their force. So hi Archie, glad you're watching, and good luck mum and dad. I think that message was there. I thought I saw him here earlier, which, well, I suppose the joys of social smartphones is he may be watching on his phone. But anyway.
And again, just another brief reminder for those that didn't hear on the subject of social media. Hashtag Shelsley Walsh. Any nice photos that you've got, do hashtag Shelsley Walsh so that we can see all your lovely photographs.
Excellent. Well, we have a lorry about to appear back into my sight. Yes, there it is, with a steamy Ferrari on the back, but fingers crossed, no lasting damage done. So flags will be coming in, and we should then have Dave Garnett come to the line in his Clio 182. So, yep, Ferrari's going back into the paddock. From what I could see, I couldn't see any damage at all on the side I saw, which was the left-hand side. So I do, as you said, I think he managed to miss the sleepers, which was good. Anyway, flags are in. Renault Clio 182 coming to the line. I think Lloyd will tell you all about the VIN number history of this car in just a moment when you see it.
Primed and waiting.
And there's always one.
I think we should have 4 cars here. These are now, we're back into the 2-day cars. So we're actually back to batch 1, but there's only 4 cars in batch 1, which are some dual-driven cars. So these will be 4 cars, and then we'll have everybody come back down. But first, we will have Dave Garnett in the very quick Clio Cup 182. Building up the revs on the line. Drops the clutch now. Away he goes. Past me. Takes second gear. Accelerating up towards Kennel and into your view as he takes third.
Absolutely, yes. So this is the 5-speed car. So this is the Royal French Racing Blue, colour of France. And he's absolutely flat through crossing. And I'd imagine he'll be absolutely flat through the kink. And he is indeed. And he's through the speed trap at 75 miles an hour.
And he's into my sight. Very, very good. Very smooth. Yeah. On his way now up the hill to the finish line.
Yeah, fantastic line into bottom S there. Turned in nice and late and just nibbled the curb as he went in, but he's up the finishing straight towards the finish, and with a time of 38.37. Just leaving the line now is David Wilson. The Wilsons you normally see in a Peugeot 205, but they have now recently bought this Lotus.
Absolutely, yeah, that 205 that they run is a very rapid little thing, so they're both going very well in this Elise. They're certainly getting their head round it, that's for sure. Father-son combination, but yeah, absolutely no issues at all. Flat through crossing, flat through the kink, and firing it into the bottom.
Just kissing the apex.
Paul, just have a look at the back of that car. Is there any smoke coming out the back of it?
No, I missed that.
I just couldn't help but notice on the overrun there was a bit of a mist behind it, but maybe something to keep an eye on down in the paddock.
Well, across the line goes David Wilson, 35.10. Joy Hoyle is now on the hill in this very fast Caterham 7 Super Sprint.
Absolutely, yeah. As I've said before, one of my favourite cars here. Fantastic bark from whatever big carburettors are on that car. Lovely line through the kink and into bottom S now.
It's in my line of view now. And off up the hill.
Yes, Joy very quick in this car. Heading towards the finish. And crossing it now with a 33.49. That is the end of the batch. We didn't see Tim Grasby in the Lotus 211. Not sure why. I'll see if we may see that car in the next batch, but...
Is that the same Lotus 211 of Keith Bristow?
Same car.
Same car, fine, so shared drive.
Yeah. Yeah, all of the four, well, we should have seen four, but the cars you just saw, those last three were all shared drive cars. So they'll now head back down and then they will go again in the next batch.
And in that next batch, if you like your variety, we've got all sorts here. Again, I've said this morning, but for those who missed it this morning, some highlights of the next batch for me, obviously apart from the Clios. Richard Snow in a Porsche Cayman GT4. He's been going very well in that car ever since I've known him have that car. He really is not afraid of it. His bottom S approach speed is ludicrous in that car. He really leans on it. He's not afraid to drive it. You've got Robert Lancaster Gay as well in his Cayman GT4, slightly newer PDK box in that car. So it'll be interesting to compare the two times of those cars. There's a couple of close battles going on in that group.
Without trying to disappear down too much of a Porsche Cayman rabbit hole, am I right in thinking the Richard Snow and Phil James cars are Gen 1? And
correct.
Robert Lancaster Gay is Gen 2?
Correct. So Gen 1, it's the 981 model code for the nerds among us. It's a 3.8 litre engine. It's an engine that was always designed to be a naturally aspirated engine. So it's been fettled and bored out. So it has got a bit more of that recognisable Porsche sound. They're all manual 6-speed gearboxes, whereas the car of Robert Lancaster Gay's is a 4 litre, but that engine started its life as a turbo. It's essentially a 911 GTS engine, but with the turbos removed. So it's got a slightly different noise to it. So obviously Porsche's big thing with their GT cars is trying to make them naturally aspirated. That's the thing that's one of their advantages of GT cars. But yeah, it's been bored out and taken the turbos taken off it. PDK gearbox as well, and it's recognised as the 718 model. So yeah, should be a quick car really.
I heard a rumour that the next GTS might be naturally aspirated.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah.
I would have thought that it would be a hybridised car. Now I know that obviously we mentioned with Chris, Porsche really banging the drum for synthetic fuels. They want to keep the internal combustion engine alive, but I certainly know that the next 911 Carrera is going to be hybrid. Now if that's twinned with I think it's going to be a 6-cylinder flat 6 configuration with hybrid power.
Probably turbocharged then. I heard this one.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I heard the GTS might be naturally aspirated, but I don't. Well, let's see.
If it is, great. And it'll sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll sell like absolute
up in
hotcakes.
value.
Because I mean, you can't get a GT3 for love nor money, and the new GT3 RS. Which is the car that everybody wants, has just been released, and the first cars, that's a £200,000 car, and the first cars are going for £450,000 on the open market. So that is a it's £250,000 premium for that car.
Well, put me down for 2.
Yes. Absolutely.
By the way, I'm looking to the paddock. By the way, we've got flags back in. We've got Simon Derling in the next batch.
Course car just
in
come past
his 911 Carrera. I wonder if he'll bother coming back down the hill because he actually lives over the finish. So where the return road, where you turn right to park in the paddock, if you go straight on, you drive up his driveway. So I wonder if he'll just stop up there rather than coming back down. We'll see.
We'll all go round for a cup of tea.
Well, if you have a brake failure over the finish, you do pop round for a cup of tea. You don't have any choice. So flags are in, and cars are coming to the line. I've got a white Porsche coming my way. This is the number 750. This is Laura Wardle in the 911 Carrera. This is the naturally aspirated 911 that we've got here today. We've got a supercharged one as well, haven't we? But this one is the 3.2 litre flat six. Great traction off the start for Porsches with the engine hanging out over the rear wheels. She's on the start line now, waiting the green light. Building up the revs, drops the clutch, off she goes. Good start, 2.05. That's really strong in a road-going car.
Absolutely.
Already disappears out of my sight.
Absolutely, yeah. This car really fires itself off the line. It takes a lovely line through crossing, nice and close to the bank, but respecting it at the same time. You can hear that flat six powering it up past the King. Small lift and through the speed trap at 73 miles an hour.
Into my view, just clips the apex, and he's coming past me. Really deep growl from that engine, and he's powering his way up to the finish line now.
And
Next on the hill is John McGillen in the Fisher Fury. Had a bit of trouble finding second gear, but he's found it now.
Indeed. Yeah, he did indeed, and he found the limiter just after that as well. So some sort of an issue, but going fine now. So just through the King, but yeah, he'll be disappointed unfortunately. But no harm done. It's practice day.
What a pretty little car, this one.
It is indeed.
And very rapid.
As John heads off to the finish, the time for Laura Wardle was a 36.39. Sam Nicholson now on the hill in this lovely Malek Mark 20. Very quick.
It is indeed, Billy, yeah, this Malek, and just taking a nice line through crossing, nice and tight. It's a quick car, this, and it's got some quite an interesting provenance, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been hill climbing for about 20 years, this guy, yeah, more.
What a lovely, pretty little car. And it's
Always goes well through the speed traps there, 92 miles an hour. It's very deceptive with how quick it's going.
it looks just like a Scalextric coming past me.
It does indeed. Meanwhile, on the hill, Robert Penrose in the monstrous 7.3 litre Pilbeam MP92.
Absolutely, yes. 7.3 litre engine in this, I think you said, Billy.
Yep.
Huge power, Can-Am-esque, I think, through the speed trap at 83.
Is it my view now? Whoa, listen, I don't know whether you can hear it.
It sounds fantastic as Robert makes his way across the line. 32.21. Time for Sammy Nicholson in the Malek was 32.03. We've now got Simon Curtin on the hill in a lovely little Lotus Exige.
We have indeed, yeah. We wouldn't miss that one in a car park with its lurid green paint, but it's got a very, very highly tuned Rover twin cam VVC engine in it and flying up the hill, 84 through the speed trap.
You wouldn't lose that in the car park.
No. Meanwhile, in front of me, James Hudson has just left the line in this lovely little VW Golf.
Yes, absolutely, with a very, very highly revving, very free revving 1.8 litre engine. Now, I think this is a 1.8 twin cam in this car, but sounds like it's got quite a serious engine. It's firing its way up the hill, very aggressive, little lock up on the entrance to bottom S, but nothing to worry about.
Oh, so lifted a rear wheel coming into bottom S. It is a fiery little thing.
I would say that's had some work done.
Yes, indeed. Whilst James makes his way to the finish, the time for Simon Curtin in the Exige was 34.68. James Hudson in the Golf does a 36.18. We've now got James Chalmers on the hill in the MX-5.
Yeah, absolutely. So James Chalmers just keeping it completely flat, just chucks it into crossing, keeping a nice tight line. The MX-5 singing away as it's flat through kink as well, through the speed trap at 66, and hard on the brakes into bottom S.
Yep, coming into my view. Superbly smooth. And away he goes.
He is very smooth driver.
Yeah, very.
Father John Chalmers, who you'll see later in his route, will be very proud of that. Very, very neat and tidy indeed. And he's heading towards the line to cross it in a 41.47. Ian Richards now in a Clio RS.
Already past me with Paul already.
Oh yes, got him. A little bit leery, but he's managed to keep it in straight line. A little bit of dust chucked up just past me.
That was, anyway, very wide through the S's, wasn't he? But next on the hill, Robert Wilson in the dual-driven Lotus Elise.
Absolutely, yeah, just finding the rev limiter on the just before he turns in for crossing, and blasts past my commentary box through the speed trap at 85 miles an hour. Let's see if he can go quicker than his son David. 35.10 to beat.
Yep.
Whilst we're waiting, Jonathan Langmead is now on the hill in his Lotus Elise.
He is indeed, yes, and lovely line through crossing as well, so flat out here. So these Lotuses are rapid little things, and nice through the kink as well, flat through there, hard on the brakes, turns in left into bottom S, no dramas whatsoever.
Just clips the apex on this one again. So smooth.
Next on the hill, leaving in front of me, Keith Bristow in the Lotus 211, just left the line.
Here we are, yeah, Keith is in this 211, very rare thing. It's a supercharged Toyota engine, lots of power, almost no weight. That's a huge power to weight ratio in this car, 84 miles an hour through the speed trap and turning into bottom S.
Yes, into the bottom S, into the top S, and away past me, no dramas.
I'll just update you on some times. Robert Wilson in the Elise was a 34.81. Ian Richards, who was in the Larry Clio, was a 37.70. Jonathan Langmead, who we just saw, was a 33.64. Keith Bristow crosses the line in the Lotus 211 in a 35.39. And hold on to your hats, here comes Richard Snow in the beautiful blue and gold Cayman RS
now
GT4.
Keep an eye on this one, guys. Richard really wrings the neck out of this car. He fires it through crossing, flat out. Sounds wonderful. He's got an aftermarket exhaust on that, producing a bit more power, but just you watch him into bottom S.
Yes,
the rear light's flashing, he's braking that hard.
Sight. And yeah.
He's heading off towards the finish. In the meantime, Phil James on the hill in another Cayman GT4.
Absolutely, yeah. Phil James, a bit more reserved in his car. Still doesn't mean he's any slower, so I think this is the battle of the two early generation Cayman GT4s. He couldn't quite get on top of Richard Snow's time this morning, but going well nevertheless. 79 into S approach.
Yep, he's with me now. And away he goes up to the top of the hill.
I'll give you some times. Richard Snow did a 32.89. Next on the hit, we're waiting for Phil James's time. It's going to be in the 35s, 35.22. Simon Tarling now with you in a 996 GT3.
Yeah, breezes past the commentary box, already on the brakes, turning left into bottom S.
He's in with
no
me.
dramas.
Yep, clips the apex again, get it right, and a little bit of dust chucked up, but away he goes.
Next on the hill, we've got Rodney Isles in the 4C. Beautiful Alfa Romeo, this.
Yeah, absolutely, and this has been turned all the way up to 11. Rodney's 4C. He's got all the power of this car. R4 Rod as the registration plate reads, and he's burping and farting his way past as it changes a gear. Just clips the inside of the kink. Really nice line through there. It's actually a deceptively wide car, those 4Cs.
They are. They sit very squat.
They do indeed. Simon Tarling, by the way, did a 35.58. We await Rodney Isles' time. It's a 32.81. Good time. Robert Lancaster in the third of the Cayman GT4s passes me.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is the later car I was talking about with the PDK gearbox, the auto gearbox, a sequential change. It's a 2021 car. Sounds wonderful. Sounds a bit more gruff than the other GT4s, as you'll notice, but hard on the brakes. The rear brakes flashing as modern cars do when you brake really hard.
It is with me now. Yep.
Nicely done through the S's. Meanwhile, I've got a Jaguar E-Type, which seemed to sound like it had the whine of a supercharger on it.
If that's not supercharged, I will eat my hat. I do think it's supercharged. It's been going well all morning. It's a very, very pretty car, that, isn't it? Perhaps slightly fluffy on the... No, it's okay. It's okay. I thought it sounded a bit fluffy then on the entrance to kink, but a little dab of brake into kink and then bottom S approach.
Definitely got the whine of a supercharge.
It does indeed. Robert Lancaster Gay did a 32.54, by the way. We await the time of the E-Type. Meanwhile, Tony Adams on the hill in a Lotus Exige V6.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's a slightly later car. So obviously this has got the V6 Toyota supercharged engine as opposed to the earlier car's four-cylinder Toyota engine. 82 on S approach. Nice and tidy.
Yes, just coming to my view. round the S's. No, absolutely no problem at all. He's powering his way up to the top.
Time for the E-Type was, I've lost it off my screen, so I'll come back to that one in a minute. Tony Adams does a 35.23. Simon Derling, very, very quick commute on the way home in the Porsche.
Absolutely, don't worry, he's not left the kettle on, he is competing. So he's just turned it into crossing very nicely. And you can hear that's a lovely, pretty car. It's a really collectible car, actually, that 997.2 GTS. On the brakes into bottom S, turns in nicely, 80 miles an hour.
He's with me, go on.
Yes, he's very quickly indeed. John Harding, by the way, in the E-Type did a 36.99. Simon Derling crosses the line in a 35.81. Ian Fido now on the hill in his fantastic GR Yaris.
Yeah, this is an out-the-box rally car. It's developed by GR Racing, Kazoo Racing. It's Tommy Macklin and Jari Matti-Latvala have designed this car. They will offer you a 7-year warranty. That includes track days on this car. That's how confident they are in its mechanicals.
Does it include hill climbs?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, it really does. You can really have a good go if you want. But 82 on S approach and heading towards the line. They're very competitive cars, actually. They're very, very quick.
In the meantime, we've got Phil Fisher's just left the line in his Evo. Ian Fido in the GR Yaris' time was a 36.42.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got Phil in front of me now with car number 33, 2004 model year Impreza. That's what they call the that's not the bug eye. Is it the blob eye or the bug eye? I can't remember. One of the two. But anyway, heading into bottom S now. No dramas.
No dramas at all. Comes straight past us and away he goes up the hill.
Phil makes his way to the finish and crosses it now in a 38.14.
Stewart is on it in this car. It's this Caterham. He's just taken a very, very good line through crossing and just clipped the inside of King. Very, very committed run.
Very committed.
Yes, very quickly indeed. 9.4 seconds through the S's. That is impressive. 32.94, very quick time in a Caterham. On the hill now, Chris McCade in this Xenos E10S. Very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so this is 2.3 litre EcoBoost powered, so it's running about 300 brake horsepower and lots of torque. And Chris has been getting this car ready over the winter, ready for summer. Lots of paint involved. Very nice.
Very, very neat and tidy past me.
Next on the hill, we've got Rob Lloyd in the MK Indy, so part of the Locator Field family, really, of cars, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Nice and tidy through crossing, just snatches another gear as it goes through, takes a nice tight line through kink, and hard on the brakes into bottom S, no dramas.
Yes, just coming past me. Absolutely no traumas at all.
Meanwhile, Anthony Sherman is now on the hill in his Caterham.
Absolutely, yeah, he's just with me now, just grabbing another gear, and nice line through crossing, nothing to report, he's just flat through kink, and the car looks very planted and in control, so just fires it through into bottom S now.
Yeah, just clip the apex again, so, yep, just past me, and powering his way back up to the top of the hill.
Time for Chris McDade, by the way, was a 33.75. Rob Lloyd in the Indy, I'm just waiting for the time for Anthony Sherman, has now gone through in a 36.26. Richard Price now on the hill in his Caterham 7.
Yeah, quite a serious sounding Caterham this, so he's already gone past my commentary box and he's already on the brakes into bottom S.
Yes, into my view. No. Must be that traction control that I can hear.
Yes, it probably is. As he accelerates off to the finish, the time, by the way, for Rob Lloyd in the MK Indy was a 35.43. The time we've just got for Richard Price, 32.79. And now Steve Garner on the hill in his Westwood.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a sequential box in this car, so you can hear the short, snappy changes. Takes a nice tight line through the kink, hard on the brakes down into bottom S and banging
into
back
my
down
view
through the
now,
gears.
round the bottom, round the top, and yeah, that traction control I can hear coming in.
Great run there for Steve. Jerry Neary's on the hill in his Westfield. Steve crosses the line in 32.91, by the way. Jerry Neary on the hill.
Yeah, Jerry just taking it nice and smoothly through crossing. No dramas. He's through past the commentary box, just takes it through to the kink. He's flat through the kink, on the brakes, nice and steady.
Nice and neat looking car, all black.
They're coming thick and fast now. We've got Timothy Higgins on the hill now in his orange Westfield, and he's past my commentary box now as well. He keeps it flat as he snatches another gear through the kink. Hard on the brakes again, nice and tidy.
There's very tidy.
Yeah, it's a very quick car indeed. Time for Jerry Neary, by the way, was a 36.78. Timothy Higgins making their way to the finish now, crosses the line in a 35.59. Final car of the batch, Ray Lure and his Caterham.
Absolutely, and if you can hear me over the intake noise of that car, again, I've said it before, it's one of my favourite cars. Takes a beautiful line through kink, just kicks up a little bit of dust as he gets nice and close to the inside of the bank and into bottom S.
Yes, just coming past me. Look. Smooth as silk.
That's great to see. Ray powering his way up the finishing straight, crosses the line, 33 seconds dead, which is a very quick time indeed. That's going to put Ray at the top of the class as well. Interesting
couple of times. So there's two cars that are particularly close. I think it's quite interesting between Richard Snow and Robert Lancaster Gay. So we've got Richard Snow 32.89, Robert Lancaster Gay 32.54. Those two are always giving each other a bloody nose because it's almost because Richard's in the earlier GT4 and Robert's in the later GT4. So it's quite interesting to compare the two times of those cars.
Yes. So we've got a red flag on the hill as cars return from the top. They will be held for just a moment as the recovery truck, which dropped off the Ferrari, is making its way back into its house at the exit kennel. I did see I thought I saw the Ferrari drive out of the paddock a minute ago. So it may be that it has been topped up, or maybe there was a loose hose, or who knows. But you never know, we might see the car again.
Ferraris are notoriously reliable.
Good, yes. I wouldn't comment either way. As a relatively recent employee of McLaren, I think I'd probably be a bit biased. But yes, let's hope that he can get that car fixed and out again.
Yes.
Next batch, just to give you a bit of a preview, we've got the first cars we will have are the dual-driven cars from the 1100 and 1600cc class of single-seaters. And then we will get into the final of the road-going classes, the modified road-going classes, and into the sports cars as well. So the Radicals, the Malloch, the monstrous Force SR4 of Alan McDonald that's 1300cc supercharged.
I adore that Norma of Duncan Barnes.
Duncan's Norma is coming up. I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it yet. I keep going over to his car and he's wandered off because it's still running the 2-litre Honda engine, but it has now been turbocharged.
So would that be a Honda VTEC engine, Type R engine, turbocharged?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because if I may put my anorak head on for a minute,
go for it, please.
It's a car built to what's called CN regulations, which are circuit regulations and hill climb regulations used a lot in Europe. 2-litre naturally aspirated Honda VTEC was the engine that everybody had to run. They can now run, I think, a 1600cc turbocharged Peugeot engine, I seem to remember. But at the time, yes, they all came with the Honda VTEC. So I believe that's the engine it is. But when I find him later, and if I'm wrong, I will have to make a public apology on air tomorrow.
They are notoriously reliable, obviously, the Honda engines, and I don't think they're too flappable, even with a turbocharger strapped to them. They seem to make very good, reliable power.
They do. And that Norma, a very, very popular chassis of choice in Europe, in the European Hillclimb Championship, as we saw when we were in Masters.
Is it so? Christian Merli and Fagioli, have they got Normas? What are they driving?
Merli has a Merli has an Acela.
Acela, that's it. An Acela,
Italian.
Of course. I couldn't quite think which one it was.
And Fagioli has, he's now got what's called a Nova. Strap in for some more anorak history of CN prototype racing, ladies and gentlemen. But Norma made Le Mans LMP3 cars and CN sports cars, and the Le Mans project and the name Norma was bought by another French company called Duquesne, and now runs as Duquesne. And the CN project, which is built by the is owned by the daughter of the original founder of the company. It now runs under the Nova name. So yes, it's a Norma basically.
Got you.
I know. It's fascinating. I can see people falling to sleep with interest.
Well, there was a car that that stood out for me. Was the car of Fabien Bourgeon.
He built that.
He built that himself.
The Revolt.
Yeah, the Revolt, and
there's 3 of them now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's brilliant what he did. He was such a lovely chap and drove it beautifully. But anyway, moving on before the crowd fall asleep. Cars and flags are in, I think. So we should be underway shortly.
Yes, we should. We've got another road car coming just down the hill as well, which has gone now. So we're probably getting flags coming in here at the start line. And we have a car coming to the line. It's quite a feat to get 3 runs in good time. So well done to the team in the paddock who have been making sure drivers are in car and buckled in and in line in good time. So great work there. And we have coming to the line Steve Morgan in his Empire Evo 3. So this will be in the 1100 class of single-seaters. This one running a 999cc Suzuki engine. Suzuki and Kawasaki being the dominant engines of choice in this class. Steve coming to the line. That doesn't look like Steve. It looks like Richard Weaver. Okay, so we don't have Steve Morgan coming to the line. We've got Richard Weaver coming to the line in another Evo. A slightly earlier car that he shares with Tom Weaver. So Richard on the line now. And he's quite far to driver's side left of the start line, so off the rubbery line. Oh, it bogged it down a little bit as it left the line. Clearly the start's getting grippy, but he's away now. It turns through the first corner.
Yeah, indeed, with me now. Slap bang in the middle of the road, takes a nice tight line through crossing, flashes underneath my commentary box, pops and bangs, he grabs another gear, flat through the kink and hard on the brakes now, banging down the gears into bottom S.
Into the bottom S, round the top S, no traumas, rapidly up the hill.
S approach speed there, 101 miles an hour, crossing the line with.
He's crossing the line now in a 29.13. Next on the start line, Dylan Flesher in this brand new OMS 28, under a week old. It's about a week old, this car, since it turned its first wheel. Through the kennel now.
Absolutely, yeah, these lovely chrome wheels just flashing in the sunlight. Fires it through crossing. Really, really committed run this. Keep your eye on the stopwatch. I think this is going very well indeed. Hard on the brakes into bottom S.
Yes, very, very good. Very fast through here.
It's about as well as I've seen anyone come through crossing today.
Yes, fantastic to see up the finishing straight. Crosses the line 27.97 into the 27s. He'll be very pleased with that. Off the line now. Now we've got Steve Morgan in his Empire Evo 3, another 1100cc car.
Yes, indeed, and he just gets out the throttle slightly as he goes tight into crossing, but straight back on the power. A little bit of a lift and feathering of the throttle through the kink, and pops and bangs down the gears into bottom S.
Quite a vivid looking car, that.
It is indeed, and very quickly driven. Bit of a waggly tail as he came out of top S, but accelerating up the finishing straight now. Crosses the line in a 29.84 into the 29s. Well done, Steve. Neil Coles is now on the hill in his OMS 28. This is a 1600cc class car.
Absolutely, yeah. Neil driving this car really well today so far. Just takes a nice line through crossing. Just drops out the throttle slightly, just bangs through another gears. He gets back on the power through kink, little spark underneath the car, and he's down through the brakes. S approach of 105.
What looks like a little bit of steam coming out of the back of that.
Could be indeed. It could be a bit of a fuel overrun, but the car's across the line. 28.13, good time from Neil. Next off the line, Paul Jones goes very well in Rob Anscombe's very pretty Empire.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm willing them on to get a 27-second run this weekend, but the car looks absolutely wonderfully prepared with the gold wheels, and yeah, flat through kink, down through the gears into bottom S.
Yep, as I said
100 mile an hour
earlier,
approach.
just looks like a Ferrari.
Yes.
And driven like one as well.
Yes, indeed. Next off the line, Liam Cooper. Unfortunately, the car bogged massively. It's clearly getting very grippy, the start line, so we lost a bit of time there.
Absolutely, yeah. Liam's just flying through crossing now. A little bit of understeer, but no problem at all. Keeps it planted through the kink. Nice tight line there through the kink into bottom S. Speed approach 112.
No traumas through here.
Yeah, there was a shake of the head from Liam
Away
as he
it
left
goes.
the line, as it bogged down, but he seems to have made up for it. He's crossing the line now in a 27.83. Hold on to your hats, Adam Greenland's on the way up the hill in the Empire.
Absolutely, this is a violent little car, and he just gets a little bit of oversteer on the exit of Kennel. Takes a nice tight line through the inside of crossing. The car scraping the ground with sparks underneath it as the car's pushed into the ground. Lots of air on this car.
In my view now, yeah. Definitely a few sparks coming from underneath that one.
As he goes up the finishing straight, is he into the 26s? Yes, he is. 26.95. 26.95.
Just a word on Paul Jones. 1.97 off the line. He nailed the start of the
He
car.
did indeed. Meanwhile, Alan Warburton on the hill. This Gould GR59 is planted through the fast stuff.
Yeah, just you watch. I bet he doesn't lift through crossing. Absolutely. Oh, he does. He does lift this time. So he's lifted this time through crossing. Normally it's flat through there, but it's absolutely solid through the kink.
Into my view now, he's flat out round here, all the way up.
Yes, up the finishing straight. He's going to get into the 25s. Don't think so. No, just outside. 26.14, almost identical time to his second run. The pace takes a little bit of a slower turn now with Martin Rutter in the Fiat X19.
Absolutely, yes, but pretty car though, nevertheless. Almost like a little baby Ferrari. Little mid-engined Italian, wide arched, and flat to the boards the whole way from Kennel. And now finally off the throttle as it heads into bottom S.
Yeah, it was a baby Ferrari. And comes past me, powering his way up the hill now.
So as we wait for his time on the line, just leaving the line, Andrew Russell in the Ginetta G15. Time for Martin Rutter, 40.28. Andrew Russell through Kennel in this lovely little Ginetta, one of my favourite cars.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I completely see why. But it certainly goes very well indeed. It's such a lovely proportions to this car, rear-engined, 81 mile an hour S approach, really punchy that car.
Very vivid orange. So another one you wouldn't lose in a car park.
Yes, indeed. Meanwhile, Phil Tucker is on the hill now. He drives this Vauxhall Nova incredibly well.
Yeah, this is a beautifully prepared car. If you get a chance to see it, go and have a look at it. But it just fires it into crossing, almost the rear rotating, the car rotating on itself, on its own axis. Really beautifully driven, flat through the kink, obviously. Little lock-up as he heads into bottom S.
Cocking a leg up. This comes past me, yeah.
I love that car, absolutely brilliantly driven as he powers up towards the finish. Time for Andrew Russell in the Ginetta, 35.85. Time for Phil Tucker, 33.36. On the hill now, Jonathan Williamson in the Porsche 911 Carrera.
Absolutely, and just flashing underneath my commentary box now, I can never tell whether it's this one or the other one that's supercharged, so apologies.
It's not this one.
Before. Not this one, okay. And yeah, just nice blip of throttle as he heads into bottom S,
Yes,
no dramas.
bottom S, top S. No traumas.
Yes, great to see. A little bit of a waggedy tail as he came out of top S, as you'd expect from a 911, but crossing the line in 33.72. Andrew Norris is now on the hill in the supercharged 911.
Yeah, just through Kennel now. Andrew's just fired the car into crossing. Lovely line there, just centre of the track. Very nicely done indeed. Keeps it flat to the board, slight feather into the throttle through the kink, but on the brakes now into bottom S, speed approach 85.
Yeah, into the bottom S, into the top S, and away.
Yes, lovely car that. Accelerating up the finishing straight, crosses the line now, 32.99, just into the 32s. Well done, Andrew. Jeff Tremlow is now on the hill in a Subaru Impreza.
He is indeed, yeah, running the anti-lag. I can hear it popping and banging on the overrun. Lots of power in this car as it's just fired itself away from my commentary box, and he's on the brakes. Big flash of flame as he's into bottom S. Lovely, it's what we want to see.
Into bottom S, into top S. Sounds just like a proper Mitsubishi.
Now this is a monster that's on the hill now. Paul Howells in the yellow Porsche 911 RSR running massive slicks this car.
Yeah, huge rear track on this car, and it's got lots of power. It's obviously very well built indeed. Lovely lime yellow colour, 81S approach.
Yep. Deep-throated rumble all the way up the hill.
Time for Paul Howells coming up now, 31.84, and Jeffrey Twemlow in the Subaru did a 35.11. Next on the line, I swear I've seen this car about 10 times today, but I can only have seen it 6. It is the lovely little Fisher Fury again from Mike West. They are having gearbox problems. He's struggling with second, but he's found it now.
The exact same thing happened on the last time this car was at the hill. Yeah, unfortunately a little bit of an issue maybe into second, but finding third and fourth, no problem at all. Flat to the boards through past my commentary box, and then a little lift under the kink, and we're just under the trees now.
In my view now, sounds sweet. Sounds very sweet. No trouble with finding the gears.
I think first to second was the problem, so I think it should be all right further up the hill. Crosses the line, 37.90. Steve Nunney now on the hill in the Ferrari 348.
Yes, pretty car, the 348. Nice to see it here being used properly. It's red with lovely tan interior, very Italian and exotic. Lovely, lovely looking car.
Takes it very steady through the S's.
Oh. Meanwhile, as Steve approaches the S's, we've got Martin Watts on the hill in the Silver Riot.
Absolutely, he's having a good go. He's just feathered the throttle through crossing, banging through the gears with that high revving engine through the kink, and on the brakes nice and firm for bottom S.
Into the bottom S and into the top S now. Screaming its way up the track.
Time for the Ferrari was 42.75. Martin Watts crosses the line in the 33.52. Dave Bickley now on the hill in the Radical SR1.
Yeah, this is a deceptively quick car, this Radical. It's really just has a couple of nibbles at the entrance into crossing, just washes slightly wide, just heading towards the barriers, but just gets out of it slightly. This car's deceptively quick in a straight line. It really fires across the finish line.
It's quite handy on the bends as well.
Yes, quick car, this Radical. About the right size for hill climbing, nice and small, crosses the line, 32.07. Robin Nicholson now on the hill in the venerable Mallet Mark 20.
Absolutely, yes, the car with the illustrious provenance, but wonderful line through crossing, wonderful line through the kink, that's how it's done, and on the brakes down into bottom S.
Into my view, and round the corners and off up the hill.
That's going to be a good time there from Robin. Let's see what he does as he crosses the line. 30.41. He'll be pleased with that, almost into the 29s. Alan McDonald now on the hill in this monster of a car, the SR4 Force.
Absolutely, yeah. You can hear the anti-lag popping away and just keeping that turbo alive. Whooshes past the commentary box. Little bang of spark as it just pops out through the kink. Pops and bangs down into bottom S with an approach speed of 96.
Into bottom S, into top S. Absolutely no problem at all.
Yes, very, very quick car, Alan. A very quick driver across the line. 28.57. Next on the hill, George Harding in this very interesting turbocharged Escort.
Absolutely, yeah. I think this is going to be YB powered, which is the Cosworth power of the Sierra and the Escort. But lots of torque, so not a particularly revvy Escort, but a very, very torquey turbocharged one. S approach 78 miles an hour.
Wonderful sound, wonderful sight. Little leery coming out of the top S.
Well, you'd hope so from an Escort.
Yeah, if it wasn't, I'd be disappointed.
Would be cross.
Of course. Roger Clark would be proud.
He would indeed. Right, across the line for George Harding, 35.01, almost into the 34s. Mike Luck now on the hill in this really pretty Zolf GT. You don't see these very often.
No, exactly. I feel like this is the first time I've seen this car today, unless I've missed it. But yeah, good-looking car. In fact, no, I did see this earlier on today, and yeah, really nice. Almost thought it was a Ginetta, but no dramas up the hill. Bottom S approach.
Bottom
is
S,
H2.
smooth as silk. Top S, no problems. Away he goes.
Whilst we're waiting for him to cross the line, Graham Lokes blasts off the line below me in this fantastic flat 6 Lola.
Absolutely, and he's with me now, through kennel nicely, through crossing nicely. This car just goes all day with its Martini livery, looking great, sounding great. Through the kink, slight lift, back on the power, and we're on the brakes back into bottom S.
Cuts into the apex, beautiful looking car, and what a rumble.
Yeah, sounds absolutely brilliant as it howls its way up the finishing straight. The time for Mike Luck in the Zolf was a 36.56. Graham Lokes 32.60 in the Lola Porsche. Now hold on to your hats, Duncan Barnes in the monstrously powerful Norma we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely, yeah. What a great looking car. I've been looking forward to seeing this all day. Just has to take a couple of nibbles into crossing. Just has to get out of it slightly and just try another line. Big flash of dust as it goes through the kink.
Absolutely fantastic.
A little scrappy. Hopefully, it's a good time.
We will find out in a minute. He's heading up the finishing straight. What's the time? 28.92. 28.92. He's still in the lead of the class, half a second slower than his second run. Now on the hill, Bob Penrose in the monstrous MP92 Pilbeam.
Absolutely, yeah. Takes a very, very tight line into crossing. Just has to get out the throttle, otherwise he would have done a little damage. But no problem at all. Just get back on the throttle, collect it all up, and through the kink into bottom S, no problem.
All that from a 7.3.
You know what they say? There is no substitute for cubic inches. As that car proves.
Absolutely.
Powering up the finishing straight across the line, 33.83. 33.83. Some people going quicker in their third run, some people not quite going as quick as their second run, which is interesting to see. Maybe as the track evolves, as we get slightly later in the day, some shadows appearing up the hill. So that's the end of the batch. I'm going to step away, and I'm going to hand back over to Chris for a few more batches, and I might come and see you up the hill, Lloyd.
Please.
And I'm going to hand back over to my Chris.
So while we wait for the changeovers, it's been a lovely day today. We've still got some more batches to go. We've still got some very quick cars to see up the hill. I've just had the pleasure of seeing Mr. Alex Summers pop into the commentary box to say hello. He's going to see his beloved project, the AFS P40, come up the hill in a couple of batches' time. What a great looking car that is. If you do get a chance to go and see that car, that's something that's been a project designed on CAD by Alex and built by the family. Please do try and go and see that car. It's a really wonderful car. It's the AFS P40.
Why did they call it that? It's a pretty unusual name, isn't it?
I would imagine it's his initials.
Ah, yeah, could well be. Anyway, perhaps it might get renamed in the future. You never know. But anyway, they're all coming back down the hill now. The sun's out. It's a beautiful sunny day. So what have we got to come then? Have we got Wallace and Co. to come in a bit? Hopefully. Can you hear me down there, Billy or Chris?
Up to the one fence, then Red Rat went down to the one where he's standing to his right. Very steep there.
Anyway, some stunning cars coming back down the hill at the end of this batch. Are you receiving me down the hill, chaps?
I am indeed. I've had the pleasure to have Mr. Alex Summers in our commentary box. He's just telling me a little bit about his car, the AFS P40. So yeah, the AFS is his initials. I have to say there's so much to it, but I haven't seen Alex for a year or so. So I'm just catching up with him about his car just to learn a bit more about it, so I could be more informative for everybody here on the hill for the rest of the day and tomorrow. So I'm just going to have a quick chat with Alex, quick catch up, and I'll be back in when the action resumes.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, Lloyd, have we got you on crossing box still?
Hi guys.
Hello, Sir Chris. I'm back with you.
Yes, I'm trying to get the live stream screen so that, so that the sun isn't reflected in it. I mean, we shouldn't complain at having sun anyway. It is, if you're listening somewhere exotic around the world, good morning, New Zealand. We have a glorious day here at Shelsley Walsh. I don't think there's a cloud in the sky.
It's one of the best days we've had this year, Chris, bar none, isn't it?
It really is.
Fabulous.
It
And
really
what a
is.
fine sight. Shelsley on a day like today, well, what could you better? Have we got the Lancaster tomorrow?
No, I don't. I haven't heard that we got any sort of flyover tomorrow. We had a Mark V Spitfire at Prescott last weekend, which was nice. Although he only stayed, I think he did a couple of passes and then shoved off, which was a shame.
I was told the Red Arrows weren't far away today or tomorrow, but they're not going to quite in our area.
No, we need
Close.
to phone them and say, can you do a quick diversion in our direction? There's some nice videos online of their tour of America, and we got a car coming to the line. Who will it be? Well, if it was Bob Penrose last. It should be Andrew Colborne in the Van Diemen Irish Championship. I think they only made 12 or so of these. Nice start, 2.14.
Into my sight now. I've got Andrew on the hill, taking a nice just couple of turns into crossing, and blast past the commentary box. Nice and flat through kink, and as ever, nice and planted. That car always seems to look very comfortable.
Such a pretty car too in that colour scheme, but the car itself's quite unusual. Not too many Van Diemen's in this livery or those engines at the moment.
No, they only made a dozen or so of these, I think, and they were hoping to compete in Formula 3, but never did. 94 into bottom S, 106 over the line, 30.81, and now Tricia in this new to her car, and it's lovely.
Wonderful, wonderful car. 2000cc bike engines combined to make a 2-litre V8. Sounds delicious, getting their heads around the car, but going well indeed. 83 mile an hour S approach.
Yeah, what a lovely piece of kit that is. Yes, lovely to see them out in a new car. The old car had done a lot of service for them, but already this car's going very well and off to the finish.
So Tricia finishes at a speed of 119, which is good, and a time of 32 seconds exactly. Graham Williams, number 69 in the OMS 2000M, which is fairly elderly OMS, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Graham just having a couple of issues, I think, with just heading into Ken. I can't decide whether he's just taking it steady or whether he's got a technical, but doesn't seem to be in attack mode at all. It looks like he's driving at about 6/10. So maybe he's harbouring an issue, maybe he's just taking it steady.
Yeah, he does look to be going fairly steady, to be fair. I don't know. It's an unusual car, that, though. That, as you say, it's old. I was a bit thrown in the paddock this morning looking at it. I thought, oh, yeah, that's quite old.
I think Graham is fairly new to Shelsley.
Of course.
37.13.
Yeah, Richard Brandt just on the line there, just had a monster off the line at 1.86, but just had a couple of nibbles into crossing.
Yeah, here comes Richard now in the ex-Robert Kappa car, this one. He won't mind me saying he's a big, strong lad, and so he's quite a weighty character to put in this car. He drives it brilliantly.
That's why his start was so quick, no wheel spin. Time, good time into the 29s, 29.09, speed 95 into bottom, S93 over the line. Now, Peter Tatham, not sharing with his brother this weekend. 2.26 off the line, going well.
Absolutely, yeah. Lifts a front inside wheel up off in crossing. That's the first time I've seen that. And yeah, absolutely flat out, big puff of smoke as he locks up.
Nearly spins it into bottom S there, comes out through top S. He's still intact, powers off to the finish. Well, that's entertaining driving.
106 into bottom S, 28.14. That's a brilliant time.
Wow, that was super aggressive. Followed by Ben Fisher. Fires past my commentary box, no dramas. Just has a little feather off the throttle as he goes through kink and into bottom S.
Yes, I've got Ben. He's this is a lovely little OMS, isn't it? This one, a little Hornet. He bought this off the Weavers, didn't he? This car, and he's got it really sorted.
Have we explained to people watching online that this is practice for tomorrow?
Probably not, Chris.
We should. So Saturday, we've had one group doing a competition run, so they're only here today, but everybody else and all these cars now are having their second practice run for tomorrow's championship meeting. So that, I mean, you wouldn't think so, but they're not going all out, as it were.
Well, try telling Pete Tatham that.
I know.
Was incredible. He just came through crossing. He was going so aggressively. He just threw the thing in, and the front inside wheel just lifted off the ground slightly.
Jonathan Flesher in the one-day-old OMS. It emerged from the factory this week.
Wow, just has a little nibble into Kennel, just a bit twitchy, but flat out through crossing, flat out through the kink, going well indeed.
Well, I tell you what, for a one-day-old car, that is certainly hasn't needed much running in. He's absolutely flying up the hill. He's not holding back. That is mint-looking car too.
It's a lovely colour too. 100 into bottom S, 104 of the line, 29.23. Tom Morgan.
Yeah, into my sight now, Tom Morgan with a distinctive orange helmet. It could be red. It's either, in fact, no, it's more of a shade of pink, but flat out through Kennel, flat out through crossing, flat out through the kink, and bangs down the gears. Let's approach 99.
Yeah, this is a brand new Empire this year. In fact, it's the last one I think came from Bill Chaplin's little factory, and he's already away to the finish. Stunning car.
And sets up a time in the 28s, which is good. 28.8, speed 102. Who have we got on the line? It's not the Jedi. Tell you in a second. We don't. Cars are meant to have a number on the front. Oh, I could just see it. Car 78, is it? Mark Schlanker in the fours. No, it's not. It's Gavin John McLaren.
Yeah, Gavin John McLaren been going well this weekend so far. It's a lovely, very nicely prepared yellow car here in this OMS, and flashes past my commentary box. No dramas at all. Lovely line through kink. That's how it's done.
Yeah, that's a pretty little car, isn't it? That little colour scheme there. He seems to be having no dramas going up the hill whatsoever. Nice steady lines, and he's on his way up towards the finish.
He's followed by Richard Walker.
Yeah, into my sight, just has a little nibble into Kennel. Nicely done through there, back on the power, into crossing, just has a little lift off the throttle, gets back on the power through kink, no issues at all, grabs another gear, hard on the brakes, S approach 94.
Yeah, very neatly through bottom S, coming into top S. Got a problem, unfortunately, slowing right up. Okay, so not going to make. He's put his hand up. I'm afraid he has a gear malady, I think.
Oh dear, that's a shame. So he's not going to struggle over the line.
No, he is actually stopped about 70 yards above my commentary position.
Okay, so Nigel Pitt is held on the line. We've got a time for Gavin John McLaren, 29.83. He was quick round the corners because he was only 93 into bottom S and 99 over the line. So it's obviously got a very good handling car there. Richard Walker, yes, getting a push, I would suspect, up to the finish.
No, I think that's quite a push up to the finish.
Oh, is he not near it?
No, he is literally 50 yards above my position.
I'm just looking on screen. There he is. Well, he could go backwards, back down, past top S and into the slot at bottom S. That's.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a gear selection problem.
Really?
Yeah, as he came over the grid rather, the drain pipe rather, he just seemed to run out of gears, and so he's obviously got a problem there. But no dramas. Nobody, he's perfectly okay. He's still sat in the car. The marshals are having a chat, but how they quite resolve it, I don't know.
Well, they've got choices to turn him around. Is there a slot there that he can turn in?
Not really, no, not
there's...
really. There's grass either side there.
Yeah.
Whether they can physically turn him round, I don't know, but they may have to get somebody up by the Tacoma.
Here comes the truck.
Here comes it. We haven't got the Tonka toy here, Chris, have we?
No, we haven't. That's at Prescott, but we've got the ex-Richard Weaver truck.
I have to say one particular shout out as I walked in this morning. I do think the coolest vehicle at Shelsley Walsh Award has to go to whoever's bought the Unimog recovery truck.
Oh yeah.
That is a bit of me. That's very, very cool. I don't know whose that is or what, but I do like a Unimog. That's very cool.
It'll be useful in the winter for carting tree trunks and things around.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
They're absolutely awesome out on the rally stages, aren't they? They will drag any old rally car out of anywhere.
Well, all you need is a Unimog or about 10 Finnish people, and they'll drag anything out of anything. With
The Finnish people, yes, they thrive for that, don't they?
Well, you see the rally videos, don't you, of somebody throwing an Escort over a Volvo into a hedge, and the accident hasn't finished, and they're already running across the stage, aren't they, like lunatics?
Absolutely like
quite funny.
lunatics, and some corners where they sometimes get about 10 cars go off, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It scares me where they stand sometimes. It's like the old Group B days.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, they're a bit slapdash, aren't they, over in Finland? Bless them. But hey ho, they are the true rally fans.
Well, we've the driver's out of the car, and the recovery lorry is at bottom S at the minute. It looks like it's going to reverse back up the hill here, skillfully, and then probably pop him on the back.
Has he got a Fassi crane on the back of that truck? He should have.
He has a crane. Yes, he does.
I wonder if it's made and supplied by our great sponsor of one of our competitions, Fassi.
Well, as he's getting closer and closer to me, and he's reversing slowly, he's not going to set FTD, but I will be able to give you some very exciting news about what crane he's got. And I'm looking at, it's a Palfinger PIC 1102. There you go.
Perfect. Perhaps Fassi will give him a new crane.
Fine looking lorry. So is this that you say this is the ex-Richard Weaver lorry, is
Yeah.
it? Is it fine looking thing?
He
isn't
handed
it?
the truck and the business over.
Did he? Oh, he's packed in that business,
Yeah.
is he?
Decided to go hill climbing instead.
Wow, how exciting. Well, that's very interesting.
Prodded, I would imagine, by Tom.
Well, Tom
his
is very
son.
talented too. The pair of them are going extremely well in that little car, aren't they? That Empire.
They really are.
Oh, it's all boiling up, Chris, isn't it? We're boiling up to see the big boys in a bit, aren't we?
Well, I wonder, because I think they've had 2 runs, so they may get a third practice run today and another third practice run tomorrow morning. I'm looking at the running order, and you know, you're right. Batch 6 looks as if it's got some of the big class again.
Well, certainly we've seen the big 1600s, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
So I'm guessing, they've got to let them have a play, haven't they?
Absolutely.
But I hope our viewers from around the world are enjoying this. I mean, you won't get better conditions to watch hill climbing on this classic hill, this oldest established hill climb in the world. And as we speak now, all the trees are in full leaf, aren't they? They look absolutely amazing.
One distinctive thing I always remember about Shelsley Walsh is a couple of years ago, is that I believe there's a lady nearby that lands a plane in the valley, does she not?
There's a little airstrip the other side of the valley, yes. It used to belong to Ken Richardson, who was a Grand Prix driver.
Is that the Ken Richardson that had a garage between Worcester and Kidderminster, and he used to do cylinder heads for us when I had a little garage business.
All right.
Yeah, and he's next to the Morgan dealership at Hartlebury.
I think he had a horrible accident and lost one leg or part of a leg. But he used to fly his little airplane in and out there, and I was invited to fly mine in, but I never got round to it.
Well, the Team Valley, there's some rather exclusive residences down there, isn't there? There's 1 or 2 of our HillClimb members are obviously locals as well.
It's the Team Valley Mafia.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. But yes, it is. It is literally down at Shelsley Walsh as you go over the river, over Newbridge. And there it is up on the right-hand side. It's only small, but it'd be big enough to get a small aircraft in. In fact, Rob Anscombe, last time we were here, Chris, his daughter was taken up in an aircraft from there and buzzed the hill.
Excellent. Those people watching on screen will see that our fastest time so far today is shared by Scott Moran and Alex Summers with a 23.98. So tomorrow, when it comes to runoff, and we've got a runoff at lunchtime and a runoff as the last event of the day, people will slap on their best set of tyres, and if we're blessed, which I think we will be, with weather like this, that record might be under threat.
Could you explain to our assembled viewers just the runoff, how people get into the runoff, how many cars?
Yes, what happens is that at the beginning of the season, if you want to, you register for the British Hillclimb Championship. And then at the championship meetings, of which there are 26 throughout the season, the fastest 12 cars in the class runs who are registered for the championship qualify for the runoff. And so the runoff consists of 12 cars, and they come up the hill in reverse order from the 12th up to or down to the quickest car. And the points are scored 10 for winning, 10 for finishing first, down to 1 for finishing 10th. And 11 and 12 don't score points, but they have the honour of having been in the runoff. And that happens twice tomorrow, as I said. Round one. Which rounds are we in of the championship? We are. I don't know. I must confess.
There was 4 at Gersten last weekend, wasn't there? Because they only go to Gersten, I think, once a year on that. But the cars also, the number one car is Wallace Mingy's, and that is the number 1, and then Alex Summers is number 2, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah.
From last year.
Yes, that's right. If you see a car this year with a single number on the end plate, that's their position in the championship last year, down to 10.
How are we looking at the top of the hill, Chris?
We are still ex-weavered up here at the moment. The marshals are all gathered behind the lorry. I can't quite see what state of play they've got car onto it, but yeah, not quite ready to go yet, I don't think.
Not pushable then, unfortunately.
Hang on, I'm seeing some exciting things actually. No, I think we may be back in business. The marshals are starting to assemble to walk back down, I think. Yeah, they're jumping back into their lorry. Oh, marvellous. So any moment now, yes, they'll be recovered and on their way back down.
I've just been advised that tomorrow is rounds 11 and 12 of the British Hillclimb Championship, so bring us up to the halfway points.
Yep, they're on their way to you now, so we should be back in action very shortly. The marshals have just got a little bit of sweeping to do, a little bit of tidying, just checking for any damage or debris, and then the track will be back in action. Weather forecast is set fair for tomorrow, I believe, so we should have another spectacular day of weather, an even more spectacular day of racing. A potential hill record, possibly.
I think so. Remembering, quickly turning the page, that the overall record has stood since the 15th of August 2021, and it's to Sean Gould in 22.37. So it's not beyond the bounds of possibility, bearing in mind what Wallace Mingy's did at Prescott the year before last, that we might get a run in the 21s, and that would be sensational.
That would indeed be incredibly sensational. Anyway, red flags have been waved, whistles have been blown, which probably means one thing, that marshals up here are happy to go again.
And next up should be Nigel Pitt, and Nigel is in the OMS 3000. We're having a discussion on whether this is a space frame car or carbon fibre tub.
Full carbon tub on that one.
It's an all carbon tub, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a real all singing, all dancing, newish car, that one.
So the 2000s, did they have space frames?
I couldn't say for certain, but I know Nigel's is definitely the real deal.
Yeah, and I think his was one of the first carbon fibre tubs that Steve Owen produced. Anyway, he's coming to the line. The engine has started. It's a quick car driver combination. He's doing a few tyre warm-ups to get the rear tyres clean and warm. You never get them really hot enough. But the modern tyres do provide much more grip, so you don't need to go crazy and do 12 burn-ups on the way to the line. I've just been asked, well, when I was in the paddock, I was asked what that black stick in front of the front wheels is doing, sticking up like that. And of course, that's the timing strut that breaks the timing beam. Nigel Pitt, 2.2 off the line.
Indeed, with me now, just takes a nice line through Cadillac Crossing, flat out. Not phased by the stoppage at all, we're able to go clearly as he fires it through the kink and into bottom S at 106 miles an hour.
Quick local driver Nigel, regular local driver too, already on his way up to the finish. Love watching him drive, always quick.
Good time in the 27s, 27.8 for Nigel, I beg his pardon. Mark with you now.
Yeah, Mark Schlanker with me now in this beautiful gold single-seater OMS, is it? And yeah, he's just gone through the speed trap 104, no issues.
I think that's a Force actually, that one. Mark's in a little Force.
Yes, it is, Force HC.
Yeah, it is going very well indeed.
He's in the 27s again, 27.69 from Mark, 105 over the line, and coming up to the line is Tom Weaver. We've just been talking about Tom and his dad Richard, no longer truck driving but Empire Evo driving, and drive quickly too. Tom off the line, 2.07, bang as he goes past me.
Yeah, Tom Weaver, very spectacular car this, very well driven indeed, flat through Kennel, flat through crossing, a million miles an hour past the commentary box, flat through the kink, bangs down through the gears into bottom S.
Wow, driving it beautifully through the S's there. That was a spectacular bit of driving. It was just over 8 seconds through the S's into the finish now.
In the 26s, 26.89, brilliant, Tom Weaver. Now, hold on to your hats, it's Dave Tatham in the DJ Firehawk. First run this morning was spectacularly quick.
Absolutely, yeah, so Dave Tatham going really well indeed. He's flat through crossing and flat through the kink. No drama whatsoever, just pure speed, 113 into the speed trap.
Wow, this is a great looking, that's a very brand new car, this one, to be fair. He can certainly drive the thing. He's been very rapid all everywhere I've seen him this year.
Smell the exotic fuel.
26.87 for Dave. I don't think that's as quick as his morning run. Now Stuart Bickley, you won't miss him on a dark night with that colour.
No, absolutely, Stuart goes really, really well indeed in this car. Again, flat through Kennel, flat through crossing, flat through the kink, sparks underneath the car as the car's forced into the road, very quick.
Stuart Bickley has been sensational this year in this little car. Oh my word, he's trying really hard. You think this is the runoff? He's already blasting up
through
the finish.
wow.
26.35, 112. And 7.998 in the S's sector is extremely quick. Now, Jedi.
Yeah, Stuart Bayliss' Jedi just into my sight now. It just takes a nice line through Kennel, just washes wide slightly, but not too wide, all perfectly normal. Just takes a nice tight line through Kennel, gets out the throttle slightly, gets back on the throttle, and grabs another gear through the kink and into bottom S now.
Not many Jedis out, are they? But they're pretty little cars, very competitive little cars. I believe one of the Jedi drivers had a big moment at Gersten last week, which was a shame. But nevertheless, anyway, he's on his way up to the finish.
Absolutely, yeah, and I've just gone to sight Les Buck, yeah, just missed a gear unfortunately. He finds a gear now though, so we're okay, we're back up and running, but yeah, just missed a gear through Kennel unfortunately, but not to worry, he's back up and running and through the kink now and on his way to bottom S.
The Jedi got up in 33.7.
Okay, got, yeah, Les Buck in the Pringet Mistral. This is an elderly Formula Ford car, immaculately turned out. Real credit to his owner and driver.
We're in the Formula Fords, followed by Sarah Bosworth.
We are indeed. Sarah just had to get out the throttle slightly. She turned in slightly too early into the crossing, but no issues at all. She got it all straightened out, but just had to get out the power slightly, which compromised her towards the bottom S.
Yeah, Sarah, a very skillful driver, a very quick driver. In fact, this is a relatively late Formula Ford. This one looks absolutely immaculate, though still an old car, nevertheless.
Van Diemen from 1985. Yeah, you're right, it's elderly. Charlie Riley on his way.
Absolutely, yeah, he's already passed my commentary box and heading through the kink, flat out indeed, as these Formula Fords love to be driven.
Yeah, it's all running the 1600 Ford engine, so they've all got the same engines, most of them got the same tyres, but this is a latter model of the Formula Ford era.
It is. and nearly at the finish, over the line 83, 35.27. Here's Matt's mum, Caroline Ryder, in the Van Diemen RF 86, still wide track, narrow body.
Absolutely, yeah, looking great and really nicely prepared, this car, the Ryder family. Had this car for a little while and crossing flat through the kink and on its way to bottom S, no problem at all.
Yeah, Caroline's an extremely talented driver. She, in fact, I think she's one of the instructors on drivers' days. This car beautifully turned out. There's obviously plenty of talent, and young Matt, her son, is rather good too, isn't he?
He is a bit. 34.09 for Caroline. That's the quickest of the Formula Fords. We're missing William Lockridge in the Empire because something's gone wrong, but we've got Alex Coles instead.
We have indeed, Alex Coles, lots of commitment through crossing, no hint of a lift, just a little bit of tail out on the entrance on the kink, very, very wild.
Wow, he's trying. This is an extremely talented young driver, definitely one for the future. I'm sure he's got a very, very bright future.
That was wild into the kink there, the back stepped out slightly but didn't even lift.
25.84, that's brilliant.
That is superb, isn't it?
And 120 into bottom. And Steve Potter having his first outing at Shelsley in his new-to-him Empire Evo.
Yeah, nicely prepared car, already with you.
Wow, yeah, so he's certainly trying. That's a beautifully turned out car. He's giving it a go, I don't think he'd be as quick as young Alex Coles, though.
28.07 for Stephen. Rob Anscombe.
Yeah, just wiggles out of kennel. I hope he can get into the 27s. He's just taken a slightly wider line through crossing, but flat through the kink. Go on, Rob, let's have a 27-second run out of you.
Yeah, I've got Rob in sight now. Yeah, local man, local garage owner, amongst other things. He's co-driving this car. Well, he owns the car, but Paul Jones also drives it.
28.31. 111. Olivia Cooper, 2.115 off the line. She's quick.
Yeah, she's just flash through kennel, flash through crossing. That's beautiful. She wrote the book on how to take a line through crossing. Just turning into bottom S now as we speak. Beautiful run.
Yeah, very, very neat as well. You know, immaculate lines. Certainly quick coming out of top S there. Nearly hit the bank, but she's away.
And records a 26.67. Now this will be quick. Andy Greenan.
Yeah, already
1.96 off the line, that's brilliant.
Already into my sight. This is a wild car with a wild driver, but certainly on top of it, wow, that's really quick through my commentary box. Lots of sparks underneath the car, just gets a little bit unsettled as it heads through the kick, but all under control.
Oh my word, yes, Andy Greenan, he's certainly a try. Him and his brother, they're very entertaining and both very, very quick. The car's quick, they're quick through the finish.
At 118 miles an hour, 25.86, 2 hundredths slower than Alex Coles, but a great run anyway. 124 into bottom S. David Warburton Jr., who was 9th in the HillClimb Championship last year.
David, not short of commitment, flat past my commentary box, flat through the kink, absolutely on it.
Certainly is. Oh my goodness, yeah, beautifully car, controlling the car beautifully. The line was fantastic. I'm sure this is going to be pretty competitive.
24.87, 119, and only 7.72 through the SS sector, which is really quick. A lot of skill there, and a lot of skill on the line. That's Richard Spedding in the GWR Raptor 2. 1.98, under 2 seconds start.
Absolutely, yeah, Richard Spedding into my sight now. Flat through the crossing, absolutely full of commitment, flat through the kink, and already through into the bottom S.
And he's certainly trying. The line looks fantastic, which is always a good thing. Yes, Richard Spedding, deceptively quick driver, very smooth driver today. Look at that.
25.2, 120 miles an hour over the line, 115 into bottom S. End of a batch.
Wow, David Warburton 7.72 through the S's on that last run.
Yes, if you're watching on screen, you can see the new layout of the top paddock, which has been comprehensively tarmacked. So there's room for many more cars up there than there used to be. And to the left of the front line of cars is the sand trap for people whose brakes fail on the at 160 miles an hour. I don't think the sand trap would do much good at that sort of speed.
Not what you need at all. Not what you need at all. I'm going to hand over in a moment to Billy Grace, who's very, very kindly bought me an ice cream.
Oh, he's a top man.
So I can't thank him enough. So we're just going to finish our ice creams quickly, and then you're going to hear from Billy to talk you through the big boys anytime soon.
Loving the big boys. We're loving the big boys. It'd be great to see them. That was a brilliant batch of cars. I've got to say, give these cars away, folks, when you see them coming back down. They've really tried hard there. They weren't leaving anything, were they?
To get a low 25, like Richard Spedding did, is it a 1585cc? 1.5 litres, that's amazing.
He had a really complicated engine in his car last year, didn't he? Which wasn't it turbocharged and supercharged and all the rest of it? This one seems to be a little bit more conventional, but obviously got plenty of pace.
Yes, he's gone up in cubic capacity, but he's dropped the turbochargers.
Yeah, I think he must be running a Hayabusa this year. But anyway, I can see them starting to come back down the hill. Give them a wave on the way back down there. They'll be waving at the marshals too, because these guys will have finished their runs for today.
What have we got to look forward to? Well, we've got Richard Summers debuting the new Summers-built AFS P4T, which we saw Debbie Summers in half an hour ago or so. Beautiful lines, that car. Wonderful paint job, which they did themselves. It's just a delight to look at. And of course it is driven by the Cosworth 2.5 litre engine, which was labelled Opel for racing in the German Touring Car Championship. However many years ago would it have been? A lot, I think. 20 or so. An extremely effective engine.
You're talking about the Summers?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the Opel touring car, actually, that's been fitted to quite a few vehicles, including rally cars. Andy Burton fitted one into his rally car. But anyway, what a fine sight these are. Stuart Bickley coming back down now in this beautiful, beautiful little, well, fluorescent car. You won't miss that one. These have been great entertainment. Even the Formula 4's been trying really hard, haven't they?
They really have.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, good
Billy.
afternoon, Billy. How are you?
I'm full of ice cream, so I'm very happy.
What one did you go for?
Well, you know where sometimes the simple things are the best. So just a Mr. Whippy, no flake. You know, just quite simple. It's a bit like sometimes you just want a pizza or you want a margarita. It's the simple things are the best.
Well, I went actually, when we had the little off earlier with the Ferrari decided to play fun and games, I strolled down to Bennett's ice cream van, Bob, and I had a honeycomb crunch with a flake. But then I said, give me some of that red stuff on the top. Well, that was a big mistake. It was like putting blood all over the top.
Do you know, the thing is, you've always been an eccentric, so I can believe that's your ice cream order. Honeycomb flake with extra flashing lights, and yeah.
Every day. In fact, I do come up with some unbelievable combinations sometimes.
Our children used to call it sprinkle and squirt, what you put on top of your ice cream.
Yes, the trouble is, I'm a bit like a Dalmatian dog, you know. I feel I don't want to miss out on anything, so I'll have it all.
I was just watching some of those cars just as I was walking up here. I know it's only practice day, but it's breathtaking, isn't it?
It really is. And to think they're doing 70 miles an hour as they go past me at Vaux Villa.
Yeah.
And topping 100 before they get to the first left-hander at Kennel.
Yep.
The acceleration is just stunning.
Could you explain about the first 64 feet, Chris?
Yes, I can. For the three people here who don't know why we've got a timing beam 64 feet from the start line, well, what it means is that a 2-second run from start to 64 feet equates to one force of gravity, 1g, and I think the quickest we've ever seen is sort of 1.56 or something, but any acceleration under 2 seconds to 64 feet is seriously quick, and seriously quick is what's coming to the line, the new Summers-built AFS P4T, this time in the hands of Richard Summers, head of the family. Lindsay might not agree with that.
You can have that debate.
Nice start, 2.12.
Shoots into my sight. Sounds beautiful, this car, with the bellowing 2.5 litre V6 in the back, nice and neat and tidy as you expect from Richard, getting the power down early. This is only his third ever run in this car, the other two being this morning, into bottom S at 99.
Yeah, he had a little mistake at the bottom of bottom S there, but anyway, he's on his way up now, gone through top S. The power's going down beautifully, actually, sounds actually tremendous. The car's only run at Lowton this year, so this has run fantastically well today.
126 over the line, which I think was the same as Debbie did, 28.38. Bernard Kevell.
Yes, Bernard into my sight now in the biggest of the TKD engines, so it's a 2.7 in the back of this V8. Nice and neat and tidy as you would expect from Bernard. He goes very well at this hill, braking into bottom S, 102.
Yeah, shared with Simon Andrews, this car, a lovely looking OMS to be fair, well driven car, already on his way up to the finish.
Yes, they won't be cross if I describe them as two gentlemen of a certain age, and they're not showing their age, they're going quicker and quicker. Bernard, 28.34, Lynn Owen in the Works OMS.
Yes, Lynn on the hill now. I asked Steve earlier, 196 is the current count that Steve has built OMSs, which is quite incredible. Lynn also very quick driver in her own right into bottom S at 84.
Yeah, looks glorious in the sunshine, this car. Lynn's a very capable driver, the car's fantastic. What a skill to have to be able to build 196 racing cars.
Amazing. 31.02 for Lynn. They've exported a number of OMSs to Australia, America. Sandra Tomlin in the elderly MP.
Yeah, she's already passed me. Sounds great, this car. Big 4 litre Judd firing in the back of that. Nice and neat and tidy through the kink, braking to bottom S at 82.
Yes, and this is Sandra's own personal car. She owns this vehicle. She's got a rich racing heritage. Her dad used to build the Chapman Mercury Specials.
He did. She finishes with a 31.8, but 141. She's quick over the line. Good run by Sandra. Now, is this Nicola, wife of our champion?
Yeah, Nicola very quick in this car. A couple of gremlins they had at Gersten, but she's very, very quick here. She's the ladies' record holder. Very neat, tidy through the kink. S approach speed 114.
Yeah, beautiful car, well driven. Nicola very capable. I think she holds the ladies' hill record, doesn't she?
She does.
And she finishes with a 26.19. That's pretty close. No, she was in the 24s, wasn't she? To break the record. Sean Gould, our record holder here. 22.4.
Sean into my sight now in the car that bears his name. Very neat and tidy and quick through crossing and kennel. Sparks fly through the kink, braking into bottom S, 111.
Oh my God, and he spins it at bottom S. I don't think there's major damage, but he's definitely spun it. Red flags are out, and in fact...
I think it's totally undamaged by the look of it.
He's got away with that.
He did.
He was approaching that at crazy speed, wasn't he?
Well, not really, 111, but I think he probably applied a bit of throttle half a second too early, and it spun him round. Luckily, I thought he was going to back the rear wing into the recticel, but it's escaped.
Okay, that was interesting, the 111 over the speed trap. Yeah, so yeah, but nevertheless, it looked quick to me as he was approaching, but then he was fighting it all the way then.
Sure.
Well, that's a great shame, isn't it? So Sean Gould, record holder on the hill. This is the car that he's sharing with Matt Ryder, so we are praying that there's no real damage on that car.
What did Gilles Villeneuve say?
If you're not trying hard enough...
If you're not spinning, you're not trying.
Well, I don't think Matt wants him to spin.
Yes, Matt heartily disagrees with that, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're just holding him at the bottom S. I think he's okay. I mean, the car's fine. I can see it out my commentary window. They're probably just getting word that the hill is flagged so he can roll back down would be what I would guess.
I think you're
we'll wait
right.
and see. Yeah, it might be that he braked early for bottom S to then try and carry more speed through it, hence the slower S approach speed.
Could well be.
I notice sometimes Scott Moran's S approach speed is not the highest, but his S split times are then phenomenally competitive.
He's on his way back down, so that's good news. Hopefully, he very skillfully parked that car. I tell you, that was some good going.
It was. The same applied to Roy Lane. He never was the quickest into bottom S, but as you say, accelerated through. Message from Paul Wilkins. It's Wallace and Nicola Mingy's son's birthday today. Happy birthday, Craig.
Oh yes, happy birthday, Craig.
Happy birthday, Craig. I saw somebody up here earlier. I don't know that Craig's watching this weekend. There was somebody with a Tilly Culture Quarries T-shirt on up here.
Probably.
I saw the rear wing looks fine.
Good.
To me, doesn't look like it touched anything.
Good.
Flags are coming in, and he was quick up to that point. He was 15.68 to the S's, so it was going to be a quick run. But it's only practice.
Next
no harm,
up,
no foul.
Next up, Graham Wynn. He sponsors the Win Top 10, doesn't he? I don't know how that works.
The Win Development is top 10, is it? I don't know. It's a good question.
But he's sharing with, of course, with Scott Moran, together jointly developing this car, getting quicker and quicker. Graham, again, is not in the first flush of youth, but he's got a pacemaker, and that's why he's so quick.
He's a man with many grandchildren as well, isn't he, Graham?
Is he? I don't know.
And he's OBE, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Is it OBE or N?
I never know.
OBE, yeah. Order of the British Empire. Off the line. 2.14, that's okay.
He's into my sight now. Loads of speed into Kennel there, very nicely done. Nice, neat, tidy through crossing. Back on the power, takes a gear. Bit of a feathering in the front as he comes through the kink. Braking into bottom S at approach speed of 105.
Yep, already with me now. Yeah, that looks such a mean car, doesn't it? He looks like the Stig actually with that black helmet on it.
It's a 26.13, 160 over the line. Wow.
That's rapid.
And it's a big responsibility, Graham's got, to not to go crazy, because the car's going to be driven by Scott Moran fairly soon.
And Scott won't be hanging about, will he?
He won't. Here's Mum, here's Lindsay Summers, Alex's mum, in the car that she owns. She lends it to Alex every now and then.
Yes, she's into my sight now, taking it nice and steady. The light is doing funny things up here. Parts of the hills are in the shade, parts are in the sun, so it's quite tricky conditions up here. Braking into bottom S at 94.
Dappled light's the word I would use for it up here, but anyway, yeah, storming away up to the finish in the firestorm.
Over the line at 138, 28.46. The car nice and warm for Alex, although I think he's had his run. Now then, Aaron Coburn sharing this car, 1.99 on the line. That is brilliant for a relatively elderly car.
Yes, for a 2 litre, that's going very well. They're going very well, I must say, in this car. Really, really competitive in the 2 litre class. Braking into bottom S at 99, sorry.
Yeah, beautifully turned out car, isn't it? Yeah, I do like that a lot. I saw it at Prescott for the first time. Absolutely love it.
And the time is a 29.37. Ian Tucker is quick as well.
Yes, this car features one of the high boosters that's stretched as far as you can take them. Hence why it's in the 2 litre class, going very nicely in the OMS. Perfect line through the kink, braking into bottom S, 93.
Yeah, Ian Tucker, he comes all the way out from sunny Cornwall. Anyway, he seems to be enjoying his run up the hill. He doesn't look very massively quick, but nevertheless, enjoying his hill climbing.
30.08. Andy Bogood up from the Channel Islands.
Yes, very quick in this car. Had to take a second turn into crossing those. Turned in a bit early, but all fine. Flat through the kink. Braking to bottom S, 107.
Wow, yes, I haven't seen this car before, but I know Andy's got a good track record, hasn't he? And that is a well-driven motor car. It looks to be going very rapidly.
Well, it's pretty rapid, 119, 27.91 is Terry Davis.
Wonderful sounding, sonorous 2 litre V8 powered Force TA, the engine that he himself built. Sounds brilliant. Bit of a lift as he came through the kink, braking to bottom S at 87.
Yep, Terry's with me now, coming out the sunshine into the shade, and Alpha back out into the sunshine, absolutely blasting it up towards the finish in that home built engine.
to record a 29.77. He's followed by Mike Dragoni, also up from Cornwall.
Yes, been and gone. He's past me. He's through the kink. He's braking into bottom S at 97.
Yeah, lovely to see Mike out again. This is a Millington engine car, this one. Well-developed car. He comes up from Cornwall. In fact, he's Rick Stein's landlord on a bit of property.
Followed by Andrew Henson down from Lancashire in the Gould Dallara.
Yes, this is going very well in this car today. This car's been hill climbing for over 20 years. Great car, braking to bottom S at 130, quick.
Wow.
He has gone really well this weekend, hasn't he? The car, I've never seen it running so quick. Great to see.
Followed by Lee Griffiths, 1.97 off the line. Time for Mike, for Andrew Henson was a 26.6.
Well, Lee Griffiths has been and gone, sparking through the kink as approach speed 105.
Okay, he locked up going into there. He had to slow up drastically into bottom S. That's affected his run this time.
Yeah, it's cost him a bit. 28.02 for Lee, 117 on the line. Jonathan Varley in the unique GWR Predator, which started life with a Formula 1 engine, was a V10.
Yes, it was.
Made an incredible noise, but didn't go anywhere, really.
Yeah, gearbox problems,
Yeah.
apparently.
Couldn't get off the line, could it?
No, but it's now in another 2-litre Terry Davies V8 in the back, and it goes phenomenally quickly, and Jonathan's very quick in it. He was very quick through crossing, very quick through the kink, braking to bottom S, 114.
Beautifully sorted car. Graham White Jr. who builds brilliant cars. Already powering up the straight. I think he'll see his best work tomorrow.
26.47, 121 for Jonathan. Here's Tina Hawkes. Nice to see her back in the car.
Yes, great to see Tina. Do you know it's been 2019 was the last time she was here, she was saying earlier, so it's a long time, but she's straight back into it and going very well indeed, braking to bottom S, 108.
Yeah, Tina's driving extremely well. Son Max is taking photographs. I don't think Max is driving it this weekend, is he?
She made an excellent start at 1.94 and has finished with a 27.1, 140 over the line. That's not slow for
That's
a not very big car. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, and she's found 8.5 tenths today.
Do you think a pigeon flew across the beam just before she arrived?
That's
A pheasant.
extraordinary. 140. That's
104 is incredible.
wasn't it Paul Hames who was in the 140s over the line earlier as well?
Probably was. Meanwhile, Kelvin Broad's on the hill in the newly rebuilt Force TA after a bit of an incident at Gernston last weekend, but he's right back on it and going very quickly indeed as he breaks into bottom S, 115 S approach.
Kelvin always a trier, but good line through here, very good line. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. He's already powering up the straight now. Let's see if we can get 26s maybe.
26.35 and 125, and on the line, John Chalmers in the rear. I think they only built 3 of these. Wrought F3, which was built for Formula 3 and never raced in Formula 3. So John got it, put the unique engine in the back of it, 1400cc, 2.2, not bad.
No, and he's into my view now, popping and banging and burbling as he comes through Kennel, lifts a little bit as he goes through crossing, sounds great as he's back on the power, pops and bangs, he takes a gear, flat through the kink, braking to bottom S at 117.
Very neatly through bottom S as well. This stunningly turned out silver car. His son is driving a little Mazda in here as well, I think. But anyway, John's away to the finish.
He's in the 26, it's 26.86, 124 miles an hour over the line for John. Last car in this batch is Paul Hames in the turbocharged Gould GR59 with a 1300cc engine. That's producing 450 or so horsepower in a car that weighs less than 400 kilos. Beautifully controlled start, 2.31.
Nicely done. So quickly as it comes into Kennel, big burst of power between Kennel and crossing, back on the power really early, uses all the roads, he comes through crossing, flat through the kink, braking into bottom S, 135.
Immaculately turned out car. He is absolutely flying. He was 140 over the finish, so I guarantee he's going to be in the 24s, 25s.
24.53 and 142 over the line. That's a brilliant run. That's a brilliant run.
New turbocharger on that car this year.
What is the record for this for that class?
24-1. No, it's not. I'm sorry.
25-1-8, I think. John Chalmers? No.
No, it's 22-8-6.
Oh, wow.
Because Joss, when he had the turbocharged
Of
Raptor, was
course,
the
yes.
third person ever into the 22s.
Crikey. Yes, that's shown on YouTube quite regularly.
Yes. But yeah, new turbocharger on the car this year, he was saying earlier in the paddock, and it's so, it spools up so much quicker. The other one was getting a bit old, and the technology's come on leaps and bounds. So it's good to see that car going well.
So that is batch 5, and the real top few are in our next batch. Let's pray that, well, not pray, but let's hope that Will Hall is able to fix the Gould.
I got some good news on that.
Oh, good.
It was an extremely technical problem. The nut that held the throttle cable on had fallen off.
Oh, no.
Yes.
So annoying, isn't it?
Once reapplied, it is annoying, but also rather that than something major.
I once got to bottom S and the car just stopped, the engine died, and the fuel pump was ticking away. I said it's a fuel pump problem, which it was. We'd forgotten to put any fuel in it.
Give them a wave on the way back down, folks. These cars have really went for it there, didn't they? Paul Hames was exceptional right at the end there, wasn't he?
He really was.
Very quick indeed.
What's our quickest run today? 24.58.
Was Paul the quickest today?
No.
Oh, he's done a 24.53. I think have we had some cars in the 23s? I think we did.
Yeah, I think we
might
did.
have done, yes.
I think we had some of the very quick cars on. Just see if I can find some.
But yeah, nevertheless, 24s is exceptional, really. I mean, right back in the day, it was so. Was it back in the 80s when the first cars went under 30 seconds, wasn't it?
It was.
The fastest time of the day so far is a 23.98, joint by Alex Summers and Scott Moran, so they were identical.
Right.
Which means that at the moment, Paul is half a second off the quickest time of the day, which is very impressive indeed. Whilst we've got cars coming back down, and I'm sure everybody listening here is coming back tomorrow, because where else would you want to be? I've not seen as competitive a single-seater entry across the board in a long time. And looking at the times in all of the classes, the 1100, 1600, 2-litre, turbocharged, unlimited, they are phenomenally close. I think it's going to be really exciting tomorrow.
Well, it's turning out to be a very close-fought season, isn't it? Particularly at the top of the British Hillclimb Championship.
Yes, it is indeed.
It's an exceptional season, isn't it? I mean, it's been brilliantly close the last few years, isn't it? But this year, in the runoffs, I mean, Scott Moran won twice, didn't he, last weekend? Wallace won one, and Alex won one. And Sean Gould was back on the pace without any doubt at all.
Well, it's so good to see the new generation coming in. Young drivers, Matt Ryder, of course, Cottrell in the Delara.
Yes, Tom Weaver in the 1100.
Yep.
Dave Warburton in the 1600.
Alex Coles, Max Hawkes.
Yeah. Alex Summers is
it's brilliant.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, because it used to be a little bit of a middle-aged sport, wasn't it?
The future looks very bright, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah, it's encouraging.
Let's just hope the tyre situation gets sorted.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
Oh yes, I was going to ask. I saw. I was going to ask about that earlier, actually. We probably need to ask someone for an update on
I think, well, I've had a bit of an update. Avon and BMTR and somebody else are deep in discussion about what to do for next year. And I believe, don't tell anybody, that Avon are going flat out to build some tyres for next year.
That's encouraging news, because it would be heartbreaking if they didn't and they were all running around on old Pirelli remolds.
Yeah, we've got Angus Dudley on the line in this 595 Abarth based on the Cinquecento Fiat 500. There's an electric, a hot electric version come out recently. There's a road test of it in Autocar last week.
There is, well, Angus is on the hill and he's appeared into my sight now. Nice and neat and tidy, if I must say, through crossing. Inch perfect, close to the bank as he went through crossing, flat, knacker, through crossing and the kink, braking to bottom S at 76.
Yeah, it's into my view now, actually. Not super spectacular, but that's not always a bad thing. Usually they're very neat runs, and hill climbing, when you're all sideways, it loses loads of time, doesn't it?
Billy, how much do you know about Renault Clios?
Almost as much as Lloyd's little finger. This one is a blue one. No, this is a Clio 182 Cup. Lovely little car, very, very light, very good hill climb car. I think it's 2 litres, but Lloyd will be shouting at me if I'm wrong. Braking to bottom S at 73.
2 litre, 16 valve, 172 or 182 brake horsepower, hence the denomination of the number.
Time for Angus Dudley in the Fiat, 39.29. Steve Hill is just about to finish in the Clio. Martin Bashwood on his way in the Caterham Academy.
He's already passed me nicely through the kink, braking to bottom S at 77.
Stephen Hill, 39.63.
Big sideways moment into bottom S there. Trying hard, getting more and more confident in this car every time I see him. Local man and on his way down.
Time for Martin Bashwood coming up. Stephen Baxter on his way in this fearsome Peugeot, 37.22.
That Peugeot sounds fantastic. The intake roar as it came towards me. Quick car into bottom S at 85.
Yeah, and doesn't it look good as well? It looks absolutely, the part looks built. Oh my God, clouts the bank on his way out to top S. A lot of smoke and dust.
Now next up should be Stephen Baxter, 34.02. Next up should be Debbie Summers in the brand new car. No, it's not. Let's see, number 96.
I wonder if that is. I didn't see where is it?
Well, this is Darren Gumley.
I didn't see Darren earlier. The other car I didn't see earlier was come back to me. Carry on.
Yeah, Darren off the line, 2.2. Gone slightly away from the running order printed, but
We have
sorted out.
Darren's already with me. Nice, neat and tidy through Kennelland crossing. Slap bang in the middle of the road. Flat through the kink, braking to bottom S 114.
And very, very neatly through the S's. I've got to say, great bit of driving by Darren there. Again, a local man, certainly a trier always. Way to the finish.
Darren's time, 26.46. Paul Crute on the line in the Jaguar V6 powered OMS. Makes a lovely noise.
He does indeed.
Hasn't got the power of the pure racing engines.
No, but I spoke to him about this. I think the last meeting he was at, and he just loves the car, loves the engine, loves his hill climbing, and it's fantastic to see. Howls its way past me at crossing, through the kink, braking to bottom S at 93.
Not many better looking or sounding cars on the hill today. Travels up from Cornwall on a very regular basis. 300 horsepower in that. And
30.43, 119 miles an hour. Now then, it is Debbie having her third ever run in this lovely new car. Space frame, a reinforced space frame chassis. Certain amount of help from DJ with the rear suspension and the rear wing. And nicely off the line, 2.13.
Shoots into my view, nice and neat and tidy. She turns through Kennel, big stab of power between Kennel and crossing. Through crossing, sounds glorious. Little bit of a feather of the throttle through the kink, braking into bottom S at 98.
lots of areas of shadow, lots of areas of sunshine. Car looking immaculate. Debbie is looking immaculate, and off she goes. She's thoroughly enjoying herself, and I'm sure she'll go a lot quicker in times to come.
Records a 28.95. She's consistent 126 miles an hour over the finishing line. Simon Andrews.
Yes, he's already been and gone past me through the kink, braking to bottom S at 107.
Simon Andrews, in my view, yeah. Good lines, very straightforward. Yeah, no dramas, off to the finish.
Time for Simon is a 27.89. 'He'll be quite pleased with that. 120 over the line. Steve Owen on the line with the OMS 28 with its Radical Performance Engines V8 based on 2 motorcycle engines, 2.7 litres, producing, I suppose, about 350, maybe nearer 400
Yes.
bhp.
Yes, indeed. Quite similar, I believe, to the engine in the back of Trev's car. And he's already passed me, and he's braking into bottom S at 103.
Well, a bit of a slide out of bottom S. He's certainly not hanging about. Gets a bit crossed up coming out of top S. Powering up to the finish now.
And over the line with the 26.97 at a speed of 122. Now then, this is Ed Burgess. Jumped out of his Bugatti Type 51, having set the record at Prescott last weekend, into this ex-Tony Marsh, ex-James Baxter Gould GR55 with its Opel badged Cosworth engine in the back, which was used in the German Deutsche Tourenwagen Meisterschaft German Touring Car Championship. This is Ed's first visit in this car to Shelsley. Had a good run this morning, taking it sensibly. Quite a nice start, 2.42.
Sounds fantastic, this car, and it is immaculately turned out. He's really getting to grips with this hill. He had to take a second turn into crossing. It probably didn't understeer as much as he was expecting from a Bugatti, but he's into bottom S now at 93.
Yeah, beautifully turned out. Ed, yes, as you say, Bugatti record holder at Prescott. He just clips the bank on the exit of top S here, but he's away to the finish.
And he's under 30 seconds, 29.31, 150. Nice picture on the telly of Ed rounding Orchard and Chelsea last weekend, both inside wheels off the ground. Sue Young.
Yes, great to see Sue back out in this car. Former ladies record holder here. She wants it back. She's going very nicely indeed as she passes me, braking into bottom S at 99.
Who would bet against her? Yeah, she's certainly getting her confidence back in the car. After that long layoff, she's been breeding horses, which she still does. But anyway, she looks to be very comfortable in that car again.
133 over the line, 28.19. Good run, and we got Jack Cottrell, one of our coming men in the Delara Cosworth.
Sounds fantastic, this car. Very similar engine to the engine in the back of Alex Summers' car. Jack getting a hang of this very well. Screams its way past me, feathering the throttle through the kink, braking into bottom S at 112.
Yeah, looking good, looking very good indeed. Jack is definitely a future star. He rarely makes a mistake. He's certainly going up to the finish now, looking good.
Records 26.52, 144 over the line. Oliver Tomlin.
Already past me in the 4-litre Judd-powered Pilbeam, which he shares with Sandra, braking into bottom S, 118.
Yeah, Mum's letting him drive in the car today, and he seems to be going very nicely. There's not many Pilbeams left on the hill, but this is a beautifully turned out one.
26.21, that's good for a venerable car. 134 over the line, and on the line Will Hall. Great to see that it wasn't serious, just a nut came off the throttle cable in the new GR59. 2.02 off the line, 100 miles an hour already into Kennel.
Storms into my view, nice and neat and tidy up into crossing, inch perfect through crossing, sparking, and hit as it hits the ground as he heads up towards the kink, braking to bottom S, 110.
Trying hard. Will always tries hard. He's a real try. And I tell you what, he deserves a little bit of luck, doesn't he, Will? He's got this beautiful car sparking on the underside going up to the finish.
24.76, 157 over the line. Things are going well at last. Now then, famous car on the line, driven by David Uran. This is the Gould GR55B that held the record here for a long, long time. Hans Martin Groves, 2.13 off the line. He's quick.
He is indeed. He's very quick in this car. He took a run-off win here last year in this car. He loves Shelsley. He's so fast in the 55, looks so planted through the kink, braking to bottom S, 134.
And he's looking very good indeed. Yes, he's certainly trying, but his line's fantastic. He's already powering off to the finish. Let's see what he can do.
He can do a 24.44. 138 miles an hour over the line. Matt Ryder coming to the line in the GR59J, the prototype, sharing the with Sean Gould. He was 140 miles an hour into bottom S on his first run this morning. Scary.
Yeah. Especially if you sat at bottom S, maybe move a few rows back.
205, 2.05, 100 miles an hour already.
Storms into my view, neat and tidy. Bit of a wiggle from the rear end as he came through Kennel, much tidier through crossing back on the power roller, uses all the roll on exit of the cars, wobbling around a little bit, looks a bit nervous between me and the bottom S.
He looks rapid though, he looks absolutely sensational. Go on Matt, see what you can do. Let's give us a 23.
Not quite, 24.52, 125 into bottom S, 163 over the line. Trevor, what can you do? 2.07 off the line.
Car looking fantastic after its winter repaint. So much commitment from Trevor as he comes past me on the power so early. The car sparks as it hits the ground. S approach speed 131.
Beautiful line from Trevor. He's an instructor here. He certainly knows his way up the hill. 3 times champion, away to the finish.
It's a 24.27. So close to run. 135 miles an hour from Trevor. Now then, we've got Scott Moran. Scott won both rounds in the last running of the championship down at Gurston Down. Sharing this car, of course, with Graham Wynn. Really happy now with the handling of this car once they sorted it out.
He was so fast as he came through Kennel and so neat and tight through crossing. Oh, it got away from him, he caught it, but he had a wiggle as he came through crossing. Oh, and he was millimetres from touching the armco, braking for bottom S.
Trying really hard though, but he's already powered through the S's onto the lane to the finish. That looks good.
In the 23s, 23.91. 147. I think these guys are forgetting that this is practice.
He kicked up the dust on the exit of the kink. He was that close to the armco.
What does it mean for tomorrow?
It must have been a piece of paper's width between his rear tyre and the armco.
Wallace Mingus, 1.95.
What can Wallace do? He turns nice and tidy as you expect through Wallace, through Kennel and through crossing back on the power early. Gets the power down nice and neat and tidy through the kink, braking to bottom S at 109.
3 times champion, this gorgeous looking goal. Look at the colour scheme on that. Lovely helmet. Oh my God, he nearly hit the bank coming out of top S.
23.75, 159. That's
Well
all
done.
right, isn't it? And it's only practice.
Well, that was pretty good.
Should we tell them? Do we think they know that it's only practice?
Wow,
It's a
wasn't
bit
that
late.
stunning?
Unbelievable.
Stunning.
Ooh.
Wow.
I've not seen Scott have, well, he had a hint of oversteer as he came through crossing, and then he was so close to the armco through the kink at 130 miles an hour. Absolutely breathtaking. Absolutely breathtaking.
One of the big tests here is the speed and the time through the S sector, which is from bottom S to top S, and the quickest in that little lot was
Trevor.
7.62.
The problem he's got is then he's 25 miles an hour down over the finish compared to the big Goulds. He just doesn't have the power. But whew.
Well, I'll tell you what, for a practice, it kind of looks good for tomorrow, doesn't it?
It does, it really does. That is the end, I think, of practice for tomorrow, for the people who are competing tomorrow. And our next batch are the competitors who are having their own competition today. We've got 1 or 2 of the more classic cars just to finish off the practices, and then we got the second run of the people competing in the inter-club meeting, which is a competition for people with a B license. What we used to call a B license is now called an inter-club license, I think.
I'm handing back to Paul Langford to take you to the finish, and well, I can't wait for tomorrow now.
Yeah, bring it on. Lovely to talk with you.
You can stay overnight if you like.
I think he's got a tent up there.
Yeah.
Saves the walk down.
Yes, I wonder if that dog got rescued.
I would suspect that they would have used a hammer, if not.
Yeah.
Just whilst we were talking about the competition for tomorrow. By the way, we didn't. The driver I was thinking about, we didn't see Einon Price take his third run.
No, I haven't. We're not getting many messages on screen at the moment. Maybe Richard is storing some up.
We didn't take Alex Summers. Alex Summers didn't just take his third run.
Is that right?
Yes. Oh, he's only got 2 times on the board for today.
Yeah, you're right.
So, let's hope it's not an issue. And I don't know if you can see the car from where you are, Chris, either in the return paddock or the main paddock, or
No, I can't.
if you've got someone nearby that can go and do some investigating. I do hope that's not an issue. But yes, for the competition tomorrow in the big class, Wallace just did a 23.75, Scott's on a 23.91, Alex on a 23.98, Dave Uren on a 24.25 in a car that's, I think this is his 23rd season of competition or 24th, I can't remember. Unbelievable. Trevor's right in there, Matt Ryder and Sean and Will are all finding time, hand over fist. It's going to be close, isn't it? It's going to be really close.
It really is. Well, I think our paddock speakers are working. Put out a plea. If someone would like to come and tell us how Alex Summers' car is.
And Einor Price as well.
Yes, indeed.
Wallace just heading back past me. Oh, I didn't have a look at Scott's wheels to see if I could see if the Avon sticker had been worn off. He was that close to the Armco.
We've got a message online. What a brilliant set of qualifying runs. The new camera positions make it look even faster. Yes, Richard Danby has been very clever with the location of the cameras.
The one that's scary is crossing in and crossing out, which is at ground level. Pretty much directly below my commentary box,
it really
actually.
Is. Nice message from Max65. Great to see Shelsley Walsh looking stunning under the sunshine today. It is stunning, isn't it?
It is indeed. And Matt65, if you live nearby or you live in Britain, get down here tomorrow. It will look equally as stunning tomorrow. And these cars look fantastic on the stream, don't they? But they also look that there's just that extra special thing of seeing them live.
Roy Cousins says, great to see Ed Burgess in a modern car. Well, modern-ish, yes.
Oh, I was going to ask you, how long, wasn't that a really old record he broke? Didn't some people think it couldn't be broken?
19 years.
Wow.
And he broke it by 200ths, I think.
Wow.
But amazing, I think you may have heard me say, photograph online of the Type 51 going around Orchard Corner, both inside wheels off the ground.
That's impressive.
Here's Jan Nitsch in his new acquisition. He sold the Star Ride. It's now on the circuits, and this is the little U2 Mallock.
It's a lovely little car, this. Ray Mallock, circuit races one of these. I think he's about as long as the car is, because Ray is very tall, but great to see this on the hill, and into bottom S at 61.
He was leading the race at Goodwood Members Meeting earlier in the year, and on the last lap he got biffed off and spun away his lead.
Oh no. Anyway, he's heading up the finishing straight now. 41.61 is the time for Jan.
He says it still needs a lot of sorting out. The handling isn't too good. On the line, Simon Taylor in the famous Stoveboat Special with its Chevrolet small block engine. Sterling Moss, this is the first car he was paid to race by HWM, and he raced in a lot of Formula 2 races in 1950 and indeed competed in 1 or 2 Grand Prix that year.
Amazing. Well, it's into my view now. Fantastic sounding bellow from the big V8, turns nice and neat and tidy through crossing, gets back on the power early. What a noise that car makes, absolutely brilliant. Taking it nice and steady through the kink, braking into bottom S at 71.
This is the Stowbolt Special. It's going very lovely sound.
It is, and Simon's
powering his way up to the finish line.
Right, 36.62. I think Simon would be reasonably happy with that. He's been in the 35s, 34s in this car in the past. Andy Tippett in the Brabham.
Talking about bellowing V8, there goes Andy Tippett. Is it a Buick or a Rover in the back?
Well, it's the same engine, really. I think this is either a Buick or an Oldsmobile, yes.
It's a big one.
Yes, it is indeed. 3.5 litres. Sounds absolutely brilliant as it powers up the finishing straight.
To record a time of 33.01. Now then, Roger Deans. Talk about booming. Vauxville is vibrating.
Yes, here comes Roger Deans in the big Lola, this ex-Formula 5000 car, I believe. Am I right? What a sound it makes. And he's taking it nice and steady. You would in a brute like this, braking into bottom S at 68.
There was a TV program series called, I think it's called Salvage Squad, and they restored this car in a week, after which it needed restoring.
Next up, Richard Brown. This is his 60th year of competition, continuous year of competition. He's just as quick as he ever was up here. He's passed me now, inch perfect, and he's braking to bottom S at 83.
And time for Roger Deans is 36.44.
It's in my view now. So taking it, yes, very clean and tidy, up the hill, over the little bump.
And a 32.48 for Richard. Past me now goes Amy Purvin, kicking off our competition runs for the B licence.
Well, I must say Amy's just passed me, and she was inch perfect through the entrance and exit to crossing, millimetres away from the bank, braking to bottom S at 68. Great lines there.
Lovely little MX.
She did a 39.91 on her first run today. Can she beat it? The answer is no, 40.41. Followed by Liz Dudley in the Abarth.
Yes, this is the dual-driven Abarth. So we saw this car a moment ago. Let's see how she can get on compared to her co-driver. Nice and neat and tidy as she comes through crossing, slap banging in the middle of the road through the kink. Gets it right over to the right-hand side before she stamps on the brakes. S approach speed 76.
Coming past me now, very, very neat and tidy. And climbing her way up to the finish line.
Which she crosses at a speed of 76 miles an hour. Not bad, 38.47. Now then, Mark Edwards in a Clio.
Yes, I've got Lloyd standing next to me, jumping up and down with joy as a Clio goes past. That was a funny squeak there, Lloyd. I don't know what that was, but here comes the Clio. It's the 182 again, dual-driven car. Fantastic little hill climb car, this. Great lines from Mark Edwards. Nice and neat and tidy, carrying the momentum well up the hill, braking into bottom S at 74.
Yeah. Very nice. Very clean.
Now then, Mark Edwards is followed by this lovely Alpha 4C of Will Goff. Records a time of 39.77.
Yes, here comes Will now in the Alpha 4C. These are beautiful cars, these. 1.8 litre, I think, turbocharged,
Yeah,
is it in the back?
All aluminium engine.
Is it? Is this the one with the carbon fibre tub, or is that the Alpine? Because I always get too confused.
This has a carbon fibre tub as well.
It is this one, yeah. Lovely car into bottom S at 72.
What a lovely looking car. It comes past me, powering its way up to the top of the hill.
To record a time coming up, but he's followed by this amazing Civic R. 89 miles an hour for the Alpha, 39.22.
Absolutely screaming as it passes me, as you'd expect from our 2-litre Honda Civic Type R. Josh Baxter going very well, braking to bottom S at 84.
Into the bottom S. Yep, he's away, up the hill.
Incredible engines here, these. They have 2 cams, so just as you think you're running out of puff, it goes again. What a car.
Here comes Simon Baker in the Porsche. His dad is our clerk of the course today. Time for Baxter, 39.22. I beg your pardon, for Will Goff, 39.22, speed 89.
Meanwhile, the Porsche's past me, braking into bottom S. Sounds lovely, that flat 6. 82 into bottom S.
He's entered the top bottom S clean and exits clean. Now powering its way up to the top.
Now Lloyd will be jumping up and down James Robinson's much modified Renault. Time for Simon Baker in the Porsche, 35.51.
Meanwhile, a newer Clio, so that a newer Clio shape goes past me. This is James Robinson in the Clio Renault Sport Clio 197. S approach speed 74.
Nice slippy red car, looks lovely. On its way over to the top of the bank.
Oh, in the meantime, I've got a Lotus Elise on the hill, and it was, I think, he clipped the bank on the exit to crossing because some leaves were kicked up, millimetres from it if he didn't, but he's braking to bottom S now at 81.
Yes, into the bottom S, into the top S. All clean and tidy.
Time for James Robinson in that lovely Renault was a 38.36. Dudfield in the Elise 37.26. You've got Neil Hazelhurst.
Yes, he's with me, and the supercharger wine that approaches suggested this is a supercharged MX-5. I love the white roll cage he's put in it as well. Looks fantastic. Flat through the kink, braking to bottom S at 75.
Yes, into the bottom S, into the top S. And winding all the way up the hill.
And lovely noise of the Alpha GT with its 3.2 V6 Busto engine, and Neil Hazelhurst 40.26.
Lovely car, this Alpha GT. I think a really, really pretty road car from sort of Alpha's recent history.
I had a diesel one, which was nice.
Oh, very nice.
I'd rather have one of these.
Yes, it sounds lovely, doesn't it? Braking into bottom S at 71.
Yeah, lovely sound. Yeah. No traumas at all.
To record a time that is coming up very soon. It's a hang on. It's a 40.09. Alan McFarlane in this virtually new Mini Cooper John Cooper Works version.
Yes, already with me. Daytime running lights ablaze. Given that we saw an original Mini earlier, it does show you how big the Mini is, isn't it? Now, but anyway, braking into bottom S at 71.
With me on bottom S, coming up through top S, and away he goes. Very quiet.
To be followed off the line by Graham Godfrey in this early Audi TT.
Yes, the TT Mark 1, lovely car this, and nice to see one being hill climbed. Inch perfect as he comes through the right-hander before the entrance to crossing. Kicked up the same leaves the Lotus did, but very nicely, neat and tidy up run this, braking to bottom S at 78.
Into bottom S, and coming around into top S, and away up the hill.
Yes, inch perfect as the Audi went past me, and I'm sure he is as he powers up towards the finish.
76 miles an hour, 36.84 for the Audi. Graham Godfrey.
I've got Richard Young now, who was millimetres perfect as he came through crossing there. If it hadn't have understeered, he'd have clipped the bank, but it did slightly. Braking to bottom S at 78.
Yes, with me now. Absolutely bang on the line. A little bit of wheel spin there.
He's followed by Ruth Bashford in the Academy version of the Caterham. 36.76 for Richard Young.
Nice to see. I mean, we're now into the Caterham department, aren't we? Great to see another one here. Very nice, fantastic hill climb car. And when we did the Masters out in Portugal and Italy, everybody went bonkers for them because they hadn't seen anything like it. Anyway, that's approach speed, 66.
With me now, and through the top S, and it's all very neat and tidy up here.
Andrew Wilcox follows Ruth, who is nearing the top.
Yes, Andrew with me now. The car's singing nicely, almost flat through crossing. Only the lightest of lifts. Inch perfect through the kink, braking to bottom S at 82.
Time for Ruth Bashford, 42.69. Andrew Wilcox heading, where is he?
Just
At bottom.
touch the bank there with a little bit of dust thrown up.
Right, it's quite a quick run over the line in a 36.31.
Nigel Fox is already past me and braking into bottom S in another Caterham at 84.
He's going well.
Yes, he went very well down the bottom. Inch perfect down the bottom half of the hill.
Stuart Rothwell in another of these fearsome Peugeot 205s.
Yes, this car sounds great. The intake roar as it comes towards me is fantastic. Almost flat through the crossing there. This car is beautifully well sorted. Flat through the kink. Brakes late into bottom S at 84.
Yes, with me. That is a lovely looking car.
Dave Nursey in the Jaguar. He says it's such fun to drive. XJS looks a big heavy car, but I guess it's been stripped out as much as possible. 4-litre straight six engine. Time for Stuart Rothwell, 34.49.
It sounds great, that Jag, doesn't it? With the straight, big 4-litre straight six in it. Dave's flat through the kink. It's a long car, that, isn't it? It takes a while to go past, but he's through the S's now.
It's a bit of a beast,
Talk about bits of beasts. TVR Griffith 500 of Steve Mogg, much modified, did a 33.91 on their first. Does it sound?
Oh, brilliant as it howls and bellows its way past me. He's quick in this car. He's flat through the kink. He's into bottom S at 88.
Yes, just coming past me. What a noise. Rumbling up the hill.
Does he beat this morning's time? Not quite. 34.25, speed 99.
I think that also the time for Dave Nursey, that was a 42.84 in the big Jag. And we've got red flags on the hill. I think that's the end of the batch.
It is. We've got one last batch to complete, and it's 10 cars or so who are not competing tomorrow, so they're having their final run, and it's got some Ferraris. It's got the wooden Marcus 1800 GT. David Rose is very quick, Lotus Elan, and Alistair Clark in the surprisingly quick Triumph Vitesse.
Do you know, I looked at that Vitesse, and well, I say, look, when I was in the commentary box at Vox, and it came up to the start line, I was sort of half had a look, and I thought for a minute it was a Cortina.
Oh, really?
And then I looked back, and I was like, hang on. And then it went past and made a V6, a six-cylinder noise.
Yeah.
I was thinking that's not a Cortina, so I had to have another look. But yes, I realise there's many Triumph Vitesse watchers that have just stormed away in disgust. So I do apologise about that. But you know, you said the Marcos was wooden.
Yes.
Yes, they're very light, but I wouldn't. In the circuit racing ones, I wouldn't want to go off in one.
Well,
You sort of end up with a big pile of kindling.
well, that's what happened to Roger Elan, my friend, who ended up sitting in the seat, holding the steering wheel, surrounded by kindling.
Yes.
We've had a nice message about the Team Valley. Tis, and I'm not sure, I just caught the end of it. It's coming back. Here it is from Roy Cousins again. Team Valley looks stunning in the sunshine. Looking forward to the vintage meeting and Classic Nostalgia, which are both in July. Yes, Classic Nostalgia particularly is one not to miss. It's a lovely event.
Yes.
Bit like a mini Goodwood.
Yes. But with better access.
Steve Forrest, good afternoon from a sunny Guernsey. Well, yes, lovely, and we're equally lucky here at Shelsley. And with luck, and I think the forecast is good, tomorrow's good. Tom Riedinger, hi Tom, always fantastic coverage. Give our best wishes to Bear, and join us tomorrow. We'll be streaming from, I don't know, the start of play maybe.
Yes.
We kick off at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Maybe.
If they have a first practice run, I don't know.
Yeah, we start with the competitors in the HillClimb Championship having their Sunday practice run. So it may be that we don't stream that. I'll let you know if I find out.
Did you say Steve from Guernsey was watching? Well, Steve, you're going to be able to see this lot in a few weeks' time when the British Championship heads for its annual summer holiday to the Channel Islands, which is always a fantastic event, both on Jersey and Guernsey. Very competitive as well.
On screen we're looking down the hill at Kennel Bend. Hard to believe that our top competitors are topping 100 miles an hour before they get to Kennel Bend. Just, what, 300 yards from the start.
Yes. So I was hoping we might see the Summers car in one of these batches, but I don't. Doesn't look like it. Any sign of it?
Didn't Debbie have a run fairly
Oh, sorry, I
recently?
meant Alex in the.
Oh, Alex in
VJ.
the Fast Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it's okay.
They've just made a new car, by the way. So you know the Tatham car is brand new. That's a Firehawk. They've got a new car called the Wildfire.
That's right.
Which I think
yes.
what a name. Which is the first one they're building goes out to America, which is in effect the rear end of the Firehawk and the tub of the Firestorm.
Wow.
Which is a little bit lighter and a bit stronger as well. Extremely strong, just because it's. Do you know that the Firehawk, the little car, the first one was 2002?
Good Lord. Audi TT comes to the line. It's a very fast one in the hands of Anthony Brown. Yes, it was a great interview with Mr. DJ.
It was very interesting indeed.
Why do names always escape me when I need them? Andy.
It's an age thing.
Right, the Audi's into my view. This is Anthony Brown, the aforementioned very fast Audi TT with its big front splitter, red paint. Looks fantastic as it pops and bangs its way past me. Nice and neat and tidy through the kink, braking into bottom S at 83.
Into my view, and yes, very neat and tidy.
Off the line comes Alan Voice in the so-called GT6, but it's got a Ford Duratec engine.
Is it really? I don't know much. I've not seen one of these before, actually, in Triumph Ford. But it's a very pretty little car, going very well indeed.
They used to be called the Mini E-Type.
Oh, really? Optimistic, I'd say, but braking into bottom S at 69.
Yes, coming up past me now, and it's, what can I say, it's just going so well.
Anthony Brown's time in the Audi 3554. Alan Voice is getting towards the top, followed by Nick Stevens.
Yes, Nick's already been and gone. He's passed me in the little Ginetta, inch perfect as he came through crossing, braking to bottom S at 74.
Lovely little neat and tidy car.
On the line is this interesting Triumph Vitesse. Sounds like that's straight six engine. Well, straight six engines always sound nice, don't they?
Oh, yes, they are. I think so. I think the BMW M3, when it had the straight six, was one of the best sounding race cars ever. I love the sound of those. But here's this lovely sounding Triumph as it passes me, singing away very nicely indeed. Flat through crossing, flat through the kink, braking into bottom S at 54.
Off the line, the Mini Cooper S.
Lovely looking Triumph Herald. Vitesse.
Hugh Whitcomb in the Cooper S, 1965 car.
All about momentum, these cars, isn't it? Same when you see them circuit race at Goodwood. They've got to keep their foot in, and Hugh is doing a fantastic job of that as he passes me, foot flat to the floor as he goes through crossing and through the kink, braking to bottom S at 69.
Yeah, no problem at all through here. Came past me on rails.
This very quick Elan of David Rose did an amazing time and amazing speed last time, but sensibly he doesn't have the pop-up headlights anymore.
Wow, he's so quick through crossing, and he was flat, and he was in millimetres from the bank on the inside of crossing. Fantastic lines, braking to bottom S. This will be quick, 82.
Yes, coming into bottom S, no problem. Through top S. And away.
And here comes Lloyd Jones in the Marcos. David Rose heading towards the finish and records a 35.99. He'll be pleased to be in the 35.
He nearly caught a pheasant.
Lloyd Jones has already passed me. This Marcos is a very, very pretty car, isn't it? And it's already passed me at 77.
That's a beautiful looking car.
Not easy if you're of a certain age to get in and out of.
No.
That doesn't apply to anyone here, though.
No, of course not.
No.
37.81 for Lloyd. Steve Nunney in the first of our Ferraris, the 348 TS.
Yes, this is the predecessor to the 355, which looks quite similar, but the 355 had a 3.5 litre engine.
Did this one have a failed run first time?
I don't. Let me check on the timings. Yes.
Is it my view?
I think so.
It's mended anyway.
Yep, it's mended. Got further than it did last time.
No, that's the 430 that you're thinking of, that ended up on the bank. I think because he ran out of time earlier, he might have had the time scratched. But let's see what he does now.
He does a 41.82, and on the line we've got this very pretty Tony Atwood in the 246 GT V6 engine. Ferrari's first rear engine road car? Yes.
I think so. Named after
Dino,
the son, who sadly passed away. But what a beautiful tribute. Absolutely stunning car. Sounds lovely as well as it howls its way past me. Taking it nice and steady. Why wouldn't you in a car as valuable as this? Braking into bottom S at 68.
Yes, come past me. It's coming through top S now. And away it goes.
Enzo Ferrari was very fond of Peter Collins because Peter was so good at chatting to Dino, looking after him when he was really ill. Died very young, I'm afraid.
So, any sign of the 430 that decided that to part company with its water earlier today?
Came back down on a truck, so I'm not sure. We'll soon see. In the meantime, we've got Pauline Goodwin. Goodwin family have got a number of Ferraris. This is the 328. I'm not sure if it's a fiberglass body. No, the 308 started with a fiberglass body. That is our last run of the day.
It's a lovely sounding car, that, and she's well in the lead of the class by about 4 seconds. So whatever she does on this run, she's won the class, breaking into bottom S at 74.
Yep, just coming past me. Another one of those cars you wouldn't lose in a car park.
No, indeed.
And her time is coming up pretty soon. 38.76, speed 82. So goodbye to that gang who won't be competing tomorrow. Join us tomorrow for the competition action. Subscribe to be notified when we go live. Yeah, do subscribe to our online live stream. Makes a difference, big difference to the algorithms of YouTube. So thanks for watching if you're here. Thanks for watching if you're online. Do join us tomorrow. Send as many messages as you like, particularly if they're complimentary, but if they're critical, that's okay as well.
If they're critical, we take faxes.
Yeah, that's right. And we don't reply. So many thanks, as always, to our marshals who've braved a fairly hot day, and to our organising team, Richard Danby doing the usual brilliant live stream. And we will talk to you and, with luck, see you all tomorrow. Do join us again. Thanks to Billy, to Paul.
Looking forward to tomorrow.
To Chris and to Lloyd. You will put up with our voices again tomorrow. Good night.
Motorsport UK TV, the home of unmissable British motorsport videos. Bringing you all the action from the British Championships. Taking you behind the scenes. Giving you top tips to succeed in every discipline. Showcasing the best equipment. And much, much more. Visit motorsportuk.tv today and make sure you never miss a moment.